What's going on, A Plus's Nerd Mixers? It is your boy Indy Uchiha, and as you see, we are here. A Plus Hero Report. I know it may be a little bit shocking to you. It may be a little bit shocking. I know you're used to seeing Adam's beautiful face, his beautiful lustrous mane. You know what I'm saying? Everything going on, but with Snowmageddon going on outside of different parts of the world, Adam's having a little technical issues. Hopefully, he's able to pop back in. But it's not just me here. It's not just me, man. We have some of the nerds of the roundtable with us today as we bring in my man Stuart.
How's it going?
What's going on, Stu? Man,
not much.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in charge of one of these. I feel like I've been given the keys to the kingdom, but at the same time, I'm like, Adam does a lot. Adam does a whole lot.
Plus, it was kind of like unexpected, just out of nowhere. So it's like, oh no, we didn't have time to prepare for this.
Yeah, it was like one of them last minute things. Like, I knew I should have read the articles. I knew I should have did my homework. But nah, man, how's your week go? How's your weekend been?
My weekend's been pretty chill. I just started back up school. What I didn't realize getting into this new class, it's basically a full-time job, essentially. Yeah, we're working in small groups, making videos for clients that don't pay us, actually, because it's a school, not a job. But essentially, we're doing what people with a job would be doing. Just we're doing it for free.
That's not cool, but hey,
it gets me my certificate, so yeah. I can't complain.
Yeah, it's not cool as a student. Get your certificate. Also, lets you build a little bit of a, repertoire with different clients and stuff like that you may be able to go out and connect to. Lets you build a catalog, a portfolio, what you need to do. Me being a business owner, I totally would take fully advantage of that, so I understand why they do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm in I feel the same way for sure.
Okay. Man, we got Smelly My PP now in the comments. Says hi. Yeah, that's all good.
Gross stain, but thanks for joining us.
Yeah, definitely. But let's go ahead and go straight into the honorable mentions. You got one for us, Stuart?
Oh, I sure do. We had a new trailer come out a few days ago, one that I'm really excited about. So Ultraman now has a new movie coming to theaters, and it's not one of their usual kind of double feature films that they usually do that are just kind of based on whatever season is currently going on. No, this is going to be a full-length movie for Ultraman, and it's going to be essentially a big reboot, and it's by the same people that brought us Shin Godzilla, which to me is actually probably one of the best Godzilla movies out there. Amazing film for sure. So finding out that these are the same guys that are going to be rebooting Ultraman for us on the big screen, I'm excited. And what I'm hoping it does, because Americans have been trying to bring Ultraman to an American audience for so long. There was a live action Ultraman TV show back in '93 that never aired a single episode, despite the fact that the entire series was already filmed. So I didn't even know about the show until like 2 years ago. And then now we have Marvel, who's publishing Ultraman comic books. But now, with this movie, I'm hoping it brings Ultraman, like a bigger attention to Ultraman to like American audience, and then maybe sometime in the future, Guillermo del Toro might be directing a feature-length film. Who knows? But that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that's definitely dope. Shin Godzilla is the best Godzilla, by the way. Just to let you know, it's definitely the best amazing Godzilla. For me, man, not necessarily knowing what she's going to be in right now, but with the Royal Rumble airing tonight, one of the big 4 pay-per-views from the WWE. There's been big news, kind of like 2 stories of NBC acquiring the WWE network. So like, I think it's starting in March or something like that. That you will have to subscribe to Peacock in order to get the WWE network. And it was like $1 billion, acquisition from Peacock for the WWE network. So it makes me wonder if they're going back to their pay-per-view structure, or, I was going to get Peacock. It makes me get Peacock, so maybe I'll finally watch that Saved by the Bell revival thing now that I have to go get it. But we'll see what happens. But Sasha Banks, hot off her, cameo in Mandalorian is acting again. She's got a role in some secret type of project she's doing, so she's right off into it. And come to find out, she's never needed acting lessons. She's never took classes or anything for what she's doing. And if anything's like what she did in The Mandalorian, I'm pretty interested in seeing what she's going to do.
For sure. So I gotta say that's one thing I miss doing, ever since COVID hit, is even though I'm not like a huge wrestling fan like some of my friends are, I still loved going to my friend's apartment, getting a bunch of wings and beer and weed, and then just like having a blast while watching it. Like, I miss that so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing, even if you're not into it, it's nothing like being at one of those events live. You know what I'm saying? Like just being there. I think it was like 2 years ago, maybe was the last one I went to. They came into Hammond, Indiana, and I was able to see like Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, like really big names, you know what I'm saying, traveling around just doing the house shows. And they just rented out this gym and, just did that thing and set it up. And it was like it was better than when I actually went to Monday Night Raw. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I can't wait for everything to open back up so we can get our cons and our shows and stuff like that and have those experiences again. And everything.
Yes, but, definitely can't wait for the cons to open back up. That way, like, hopefully the three of us can actually meet in real life.
Yeah, I'm definitely shooting. If I have to spend my life savings, I'm headed to San Diego this year, and I am probably coming to Dallas as well. As soon as they open back up, those are my two destinations because I've been to New York. You know what I'm saying? Those to me are the other two big ones. And I've been to Chicago when I've been to New York. I gotta hit those other two. You know what I'm saying? Finish off that, that square, that diamond of points that I have to go to or whatever. Yeah, and maybe finally get my Jason David Frank autograph that every time I go to meet him, something happens. So that'd be pretty interesting to me. But we got a couple of stories for you guys. I think it's 6 in total. Everybody ready to get into it?
Hell yeah, let's go.
All right, let's get it in. Let's get it in. Our first story comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. This is something that's very close to a lot of people when it comes to the A+ opinion staff because we're kind of like really huge Harry Potter fans. So this makes me really, really excited to see what's going on here. It is stated that there is a live action. That's right. A live action Harry Potter series in early development, and it is a HBO Max exclusive. Sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that executives have had a series of meetings with writers with the goal of bringing the blockbuster franchise to television. That's right. We're going to get Harry Potter even if we don't want it. A Harry Potter live-action TV series is in early development at HBO Max. Sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that executives at the Warner Media-backed streamer have engaged in multiple conversations with potential writers exploring various ideas that will bring the beloved property to television. Sources say broad ideas have been discussed as a part of an early-stage exploratory meetings. While it's news that executives at HBO Max and Warner's are engaged in meetings to find a writer and pitch for a Harry Potter TV series, no writers or talent are currently attached as the conversations are still in extremely early stages and no deals have been made. There are no Harry Potter series in development at the studio or on the streaming platform. HBO Max and Warner Brothers reaffirmed in the statement to the Hollywood Reporter. Expanding the world of Potter remains a top priority for HBO Max and Warner Brothers, which along with creator J.K. Rowling controls the rights to the property. Harry Potter is one of Warner's most valuable pieces of IP. It's also worth pointing out that Harry Potter remains a beloved franchise. Rowling sparked backlash from the trans community after saying that transgender individuals should be defined by their biological sex. Now, with everything that's going on in the world, and I remember the whole J.K. Rowling backlash. How do you feel about HBO and Warner trying to develop something like this?
I will definitely say that, yes, I totally get people being really upset that she is still making money on the franchise and that, that Warner Brothers is still working with her, giving her all this money. Because, yeah, I'm not denying she is definitely a terrible person, for sure. But with that all being said, it's kind of just at this point, she's already got so much money that I really, to my opinion, don't think that not watching a Harry Potter show once it like gets uploaded to HBO Max is really going to make any difference for her, like financially or anything. I think she's a billionaire and she's going to kind of stay a billionaire whether you choose to watch the show or not. But if you do have a moral thing against it, totally understandable. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to say that you're wrong for not wanting to watch it. Not at all. Like, if you definitely have a moral thing against watching it, good. Yeah, good. Don't watch it then. But I also think that you should be careful before judging other people who decide, it's not enough to stop them from continuing their love for the franchise, if that makes sense. But anyways, my thoughts on the actual idea of a Harry Potter HBO Max series. Well, I've actually had this thought for a while, not HBO Max specifically, but I have always thought that a Harry Potter show would work just as well, if not better, than a movie franchise. Because my thought was, if you take the idea of like, each book being a season and you giving that season like maybe somewhere between 13 to 16 episodes, maybe have some episodes based on chapters, but you could also have a lot of room to where you could, build your own stories that weren't necessarily in the books, but are stories that you could totally see existing within the Harry Potter universe. You could explore so many new things that like we've only really gotten to see explored through expanded universe, like maybe the Harry Potter video games. Like maybe we get a few episodes that are literally just us learning how they learn their spells in class. Like I feel like there's a whole world that you could explore there. And when you have like a more episodic format to it, you could definitely have a lot more fun with it, to my opinion. I think you're muted.
I definitely agree with you on that. It just seems to me that it's definitely a beloved franchise. You know what I'm saying? Something that still is beloved, still comes up in conversations on movie when people talk about their favorite movies, when people talk about their favorite books. These things still come up. I mean, we still have people running around talking about they're from this house or this house. You know what I'm saying? It's something that is done properly, I feel could earn Warner a lot of money, especially with how big streaming is with these huge franchises. Let's just look at what Cobra Kai did. You know what I'm saying? A series of movies that decided to develop itself into a television show or a streaming show and has done very well for itself. The Step Up High Water, it seems like it's the thing you should do. So I definitely 100% get that. I totally understand that. But with it, they're very early in talks right now. And this is something that I would have felt like it would have already been going on. You know what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't have just been talking about this now. This is something that I felt like, especially with starting HBO Max, this would have something that had been in the works a while back. This is something that you want out as soon as possible. So why do you think they're actually taking this long to do it?
It's a good question. And I actually think it comes down to Warner Brothers not fully realizing the potential with television until now, because, with how television is now, it's looked at as being just as high quality as movies now, but that's not something that's always been around. That's something that is relatively recent compared to, what television was like 10 years ago, when that was just kind of looked like television was looked at as, it's movies, but like super low quality movies type of a thing. So now that people have seen what television can really be, I think that's what's giving like more of an interest, is the idea of all these big franchises, how we can now expand these into TV series without lowering quality in doing so. The other thing, I'm really glad you brought up Cobra Kai, because what's really funny to me to think about with Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid, it's a classic for sure. A lot of people loved it. It does not have the fan base or the drive that a series like Harry Potter has. So if a show like Cobra Kai could be as successful as it is, you can only really imagine like how much success a Harry Potter TV series could definitely bring.
Yeah, definitely. A Harry Potter TV series would definitely bring, should be millions more than what we got from Cobra Kai or any of these other shows we got.
Mhm.
A Harry Potter TV series done right will be a phenomenon. A phenomenon. Think Stranger Things on steroids.
Yeah,
That's what Harry Potter would be. Man, I can't.
for sure.
I'm looking forward to it, and I wasn't even a fan of like the last two or three movies. You
Oh, the
know, so
Fantastic Beast movies. Yeah. I mean, I thought the first one was okay, but man, that second Fantastic Beast movie, like, that, I mean, I think it had the worst crime you could possibly do with a Harry Potter movie. It bored me. And when I'm bored watching a Harry Potter movie, that's bad.
yeah, a Harry Potter movie should not bore you. Kind of
Mhm.
like the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah. I actually thought that movie was all right. I actually
Yeah.
kind of like the Deathly Hollow movies.
No, I like it, but it took me a couple of times to watch through it. And oh my Jesus. Oh, thank the prodigal son. The storm has stopped and the sun has risen. I cannot believe it. And I'm so happy right now. We have, oh, Captain, my captain. We have the captain of our ship back. I'm just waiting to see if he's going to pop in or not.
Hey, fellas.
Hey,
If the internet goes down, I'm sorry. It's probably my fault. I've had some crappy internet today, man. It's been rough. Sorry, fellas. Thank you for writing the ship, though. How's everybody doing today?
Doing pretty well. Just got done talking about the Harry Potter show. You gonna give your thoughts on that as well?
Oh, that's right. Yes. I'm here for it. I feel like I've asked for this before. I really would love to see a Harry Potter series in some way. My preference, honestly, is something. Maybe Harry Potter as older, him and his crew. They've clearly had some kids. We saw them at the end of the last Harry Potter film. I would love to kind of see maybe that aspect explored just a little bit more. So yeah, bring on Daniel Radcliffe. Bring everybody back. Why not? I'm here for it.
Yeah, but definitely bring Daniel back, especially after what he's done after Harry Potter. But you got to give me the crazy Daniel Radcliffe. You can't just give me Harry.
I haven't really been that big of a fan of the Fantastic Beast stuff that we've wind up having. I know some people certainly are fans of it, but it just hasn't connected with me like the previous Potter stuff has. So I would love a return back to Hogwarts and what we're all kind of familiar with. And I think if you expand off of something like that, you probably get yourself a good following. So yeah, I don't need Daniel to be Harry Potter in his prime. He could be an older Harry Potter, maybe working for the Ministry or whatever the case may be. But I definitely would love to see the adventures of not only him and his friends, but also his children and what they're kind of getting into. You know what I mean? Look, we had the Weasley family and all the shenanigans they got into. Let's make that the Potter family and their friends and see what adventures they can come into.
Who would be Dumbledore? Who would be in the position that Dumbledore is? Would it be Harry?
Well, he's not. In that position now, like who's the head of Hogwarts? Geez, I don't know. Maybe that would be Harry. I don't think Harry went on to do that though. What? I'm trying to remember what he did go on to do. I thought he
worked. He and Hermione worked with the Ministry, and I think it was McGonagall who became the head of Hogwarts. And obviously, I feel like because she doesn't act as much as she does, like she's already doing the other TV show. I forgot the name of it, but the really popular one right now. I feel like it would be a real big challenge to get her to come back for a Harry Potter show.
Is that Emma Thompson? Is that her name? Is that who that is?
I forgot.
Girl from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Oh no, not Emma Watson. No, I'm talking about the Professor McGonagall, because she was the one who was like the headmaster of Hogwarts in the Cursed Child, which I think is considered canon because J.K. Rowling like helped write it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do. I know the article stated that it was in early development, so it's not necessarily to even say that they're going to be picking up the show, but the fact that maybe they're even thinking about it and contemplating it, I think is is a pretty good idea, especially if you're WB. You've got this massive franchise on your lap. You got to do something with it, right? They've been talking about how they've been wanting to create spinoffs out of a lot of their great franchises. I think this would be something that they should at least give it a look-see and see if anybody would be willing to tackle it. I'm sure you have to bring J.K. Rowling in some way. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't want anybody to touch that. So whether or not she's as a writer or as just an executive producer, I do expect her to be involved also.
Definitely. I'm 100% for it, and anything that Emma Watson is in, I'm going to watch it. I'm a sucker for redheads.
I mean, she is beautiful for sure.
Yeah, she really is. I really want to see. I mean, just to give her something else for her career after everything that she's already been doing, you know.
Funny story I heard from her though, in like an interview. Apparently, when she went to Brown, no one ever asked her out, which to me is mind-blowing, because you'd think if there was a celebrity going to your school, you would probably at least go for it, like knowing that you were going to get that rejection. But regardless of getting a rejection, you still have a story to tell your friends immediately afterwards. You could be like, I asked out Hermione Granger, but apparently no one did that. No one bothered to even try.
Yeah, they dropped the ball, man.
They must have all been Slytherin. That might have been a problem.
That's definitely what it is.
That's gotta be what it is. Andy, do you have the stories up? Did you want to move on to the next one, or do you guys, or do you want me to take over for it, or what?
I mean, if you want to take over, I got all the stories up.
If you have the story, let's go through you just in case, because in case my internet winds up crapping out on me again.
All right, here we go. Well, on to the next one, guys. Let's get on to the next one. I'm not as good as this as Adam is.
Hey, it's fine, man. It's fine. You're doing great, man. You're doing just as great.
I'm not, but we do have an amazing next story to get up. Something that I'm really excited over, because Tomb Raider gets Lovecraft Country series creator Misha Green to write and direct. If you haven't seen Lovecraft Country, don't stop what you're doing. Stay tuned into us. Afterwards, go check out Lovecraft Country, because it is amazing. Tomb Raider 2 is moving forward at MGM with Lovecraft Country showrunner Misha Green on board to write and direct. This marks Green's first movie as a director, though she previously helmed an episode of Lovecraft Country last year as a writer. She has written for shows like Sons of Anarchy and The Underground, and penned the script for the upcoming Netflix action movie The Mother. Tomb Raider 2 will bring back Alicia to star as Lara Croft, continuing the explorer's adventures following the events of the original movie. Beyond that, no details have been revealed about the potential plot or story direction. Like the video game series, which has also been rebooted with a more realistic tone, the 2018 Tomb Raider movie brought a more grounded take to the movie series compared to the previous adaptations. We can presume the sequel will carry a similar tone. Plans for Tomb Raider 2 have been in the works for years. In 2019, Amy Jump was hired to write the screenplay for the sequel, with Alicia on board to return as Lara Croft. Wheatley, Jump's husband, was later signed to direct the movie. At the time, it was reported that Tomb Raider 2 will be released on March 19, 2021, with plans to shoot in England last year. The pandemic led to production delays, and the movie was on the shelf. It appears MGM has decided to go in another direction creatively, with Green at the helm. Now, this is something that I'm really, really excited about, guys. I don't know why, but the reboot of the Tomb Raider series is what actually got me into the reboot of the games. It's something that I feel was a breath of fresh air, because even though we all possibly love or hate, because it was a love and hate relationship with the original Tomb Raider movies, I did like the cheesiness and playfulness that it had connected to those same games it was tied to. But we're in a day and an age where everything needs to be grounded, real, and just upfront in order for us to be related to it. What do you guys think about this news that we got?
Go ahead, Stuart, if you want to.
Oh, I was going to say, mine will be short, because if I'm being honest, I've actually I didn't see the first of the Tomb Raider reboot movies. So the one that came out a few years ago, I never actually saw that in theaters. but that's mostly just because I've never really been a big Tomb Raider fan when it comes to the games. I played the remake of the first game when they re-released it on Xbox 360 as a launch title, and then I did play the first reboot of Tomb Raider, which I actually did think was really good. I never beat it though because I was borrowing it from a friend, but I did enjoy the reboot mostly because I liked that it wasn't just the kind of not saying I didn't like the platforming from the previous Tomb Raider games, but after a while it did to me kind of feel like it was getting old. So it was nice to play a game where it did a good mixture of that, and the shooting wasn't, the annoying lock on your target and, just press the trigger to shoot him down. It was like, oh, I can actually aim in this game. So I had a lot of fun with that. So I did actually enjoy the reboot to the Tomb Raider series in the game format. But yeah, with that being said, I still have never checked out the movie for some reason, but I'll definitely be checking it out sometime soon before the sequel comes out. Definitely.
Well, for me, I was a big fan of the actual series. I was a fan of the first Tomb Raider movie that we wind up getting with Angelina Jolie. Absolutely loved it. I kind of wasn't the biggest fan of the second one, but I was super thrilled when they actually rebooted it. I did think Alicia Vikander did a pretty good job in regards to it. Now, I don't think that this Tomb Raider movie with Alicia Vikander, the first one, was like the best that we've ever seen when it comes to video game movies, but definitely not by no stretch. But I thought that they at least handled Lara Croft really well, understood who the character was, and we had a nice little adventure film out of it, honestly. So I thought it was a really nice, at least first step into maybe something a little bit bigger that they can kind of tackle when it comes to a sequel. So I thought a really nice kind of jumping off point and start to it. I'm kind of like you though, Stuart. Like when it comes to the video game franchise, for me, my only dabble in the Tomb Raider franchise was like its first iteration of like Tomb Raider 1 and 2 on like the classic PlayStation. But after that, I easily fell off. I never really got back into it, and still until I saw just the leaps and bounds that they wind up making with the reboot here for the video game. I wind up playing the first one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and absolutely loved it, fell in love with it. It definitely refreshed the franchise for sure, and it even gave it a little bit of an Uncharted sort of action-packed movie feel to it, which I really appreciated. So definitely breathed some life into the franchise that it was certainly much needed. So going into this and seeing that they decided to revamp the movie franchise too, I think was a brilliant plan, honestly. But to get back to the actual article itself, with Misha Green being brought on for Lovecraft Country, Indy, I got to agree with you, man. If you guys have not checked out Lovecraft Country, I will say this: the first two episodes for me was a little bit rough to kind of get into because I felt like there was just so much information for them to kind of give you at first that I didn't quite know exactly how to feel about the series itself, because it did take me a while to kind of get over that hump of like the first two episodes. But once you get over that first initial couple of episodes, that series just kind of goes off on its own and just becomes just something absolutely incredible and rather unique, and an extremely incredible blend of different types of genres and storytellings. And I love what Misha Green was capable of doing. Now, she was actually the creator of that series herself, even though she only directed, I believe, one of the episodes, which was episode 8, which is another stellar episode, though. But I really love what she's doing. And if anything, that just tells me that they are willing and ready to take Lara Croft to kind of that next step. That we wind up getting that first adventure sort of out of the way. Now let's see how big of an adventure and how, I don't want to say crazy, but just how unique of an adventure we can really get Lara Croft in. Really switching up the tone, the vibe, the atmosphere of a sequel. I think Misha Green is a perfect choice for it. And I think once you guys check out Lovecraft Country, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Again, maybe give it the first 1 or 2 episodes, but after that, guys, it takes off, and you really get to see just the genius that is behind Lovecraft Country and Misha Green. So I'm looking forward to this. I think this is great news. I think they picked up somebody fantastic for this Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. I don't feel like you can get better than what you got for somebody to actually provide their vision and put it on the screen, especially when it comes to having a female lead in the movie. I'm interested in the visuals and how crazy they're going to get, because in the games, they started to involve aliens and everything else when it came to Tomb Raider. So I'm
in which ones, in the originals or
the originals, the reboots. I just want to see what the imagery is going to look like, because that's something that I feel that Misha Green is good at, is the imagery that we see to tell the story. I feel will draw us more into the world when it comes to Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I think for me, it definitely gets me excited just to see what a new vision of that character is going to look like through somebody else's eyes. Considering what we got from the first movie, I am expecting something a little bit more established this time. You know, I will say this: if there is any worry that I might have, it's just the fact that Misha Green has really only directed not that many projects under her belt before. But with her being kind of attached to somebody like a J.J. Abrams, you know, as far as who was like her producer and stuff, I believe for Lovecraft Country, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe she's been around enough and enough people with experience to kind of help her along the way, type of thing. But we'll see. I do think that we'll get something special from her, though. Yeah,
definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking a lot forward to it, man.
Yeah, Stuart, when you get a chance, man, when you get a chance, Lovecraft Country, man.
You know, it's really funny because you say the first 2 episodes were really rough to get through. That's actually why I stopped watching it, because I usually try to give shows 2 episodes. So if you're saying that it gets better after that, I actually will probably try to continue.
So you did watch the first 2.
Yeah. And it's like, I did like the story, but it's just the way it was told. It felt like, kind of like you were mentioning, like they were just throwing in so much information, and yet it still felt very slow paced at the same time, which was just the pacing is basically what kind of killed me in those 2 episodes, is what I'm getting at.
It did for me too. It did for me too. And then I kept seeing people talking about it on online about how great the show is. I'm like, damn, like maybe I got to just get ahead and just push through it. And then once I did, I was like, this is what they're talking about. Like for me, when I watch it, for me, it ups the stake and the stock of just the incredible actors in there. Journey Smollett, I believe.
I killed it.
Incredible in the series. And I even said, like, after the third or fourth episode, because she does get like a spotlight episode in it, I was like, I need to see her in more movies, and not just more movies, but horror movies or sci-fi movies. Like I feel like she would fit that realm so perfectly well. But yeah, once you get past the first 2 episodes, guys, I promise it's a pretty impactful series.
After I watched Journey, which I seen her as a child actor, like coming up, right? But after I watched Journey and Lovecraft Country, it made me approach Birds of Prey different. Like when I went and watched it, her character hit different after me watching Lovecraft Country, and I actually enjoyed her interpretation of, you know what I'm saying, Black Canary after that. So it's interesting when you see somebody and what they're actually capable of, and you're like, you know what, she was acting in that role, you know what I'm saying, she was just doing what they gave her. So it made me approach that different after seeing the job that she did in Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, I think Misha Green definitely raised the stock of a lot of her actors on there. Swallow, oh my goodness, he's saying I should brush my hair. Hey man, this is my natural hair, bro. Like I just can't. Yeah. I can't escape it. Like it's just I wet it, I wash it. This is it, man. I can't do anything with it.
Yeah, I was gonna put his question. I was like, nah, I'm not putting his screen name on the video. I'm not doing that. So I'll just read his questions.
I'm like, I didn't know we had R. Kelly in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Swallow says, what do you guys think of the recent Tomb Raider movie? I love it.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I not a film that I was certainly writing home about or anything like that, but I thought Alicia Vikander really brought it. I thought you can clearly see her devotion in just her physique alone. I mean, this girl worked out to be Lara Croft and really got herself in incredible shape. And I thought the story was pretty solid too. I mean, it definitely feels a little bit more on par with the actual video game itself, the first one, right? Is that? Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if that was a direct reboot from the video game. It feels like it because they are focusing on a much younger Lara Croft.
Yeah, it's to me doing that is what refreshed the game, focusing on where she came from rather than who she was already, and doing it in the movies also, because a lot of people don't know. When we play games now, we expect everything to be told to us rather than like we used to doing in the past. How many times you play a game to find all the lore? Like you walk around an Elder Scrolls video game and you're reading every book to figure out where this story is going that has nothing to do with the main mission you're on, but you got sidetracked with a story about another character and you're running around looking for all the tomes to read that. That's how games used to be. And now they're just, no, this is where this person started. Let's follow them all around. This is why this person is doing this. And I feel like that's how an audience is now when you watch a movie. They want everything told to them rather than some type of mystery being left. And that to talk about it, that's honestly why I feel like we have a lot of people who don't, which you should wait until episode 4 of Lovecraft Country before you give up on it, Stuart. That's why we say give them 4 episodes of WandaVision before they give up on it.
I will say this, though, what you described in terms of video games that give you too much. If you want an exception, man, Dark Souls series for sure. They give you nothing. You have to look at like the text and like just the subtlety in the environments to even know what the plot is, to know what kind of world you're in. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Adam, you're muted.
Muted.
I do miss your Twitch gaming streams, Stuart, of you playing and just getting so damn frustrated with that game.
I miss the rants. I definitely miss the rants.
Game rants.
All right, definitely. But moving on, but keeping it with Tomb Raider, we got some interesting news going on as Netflix seems to trying to be like Sony and become the king of anime. Right? That just seems like what they're doing nowadays. When we have right here Netflix and Legendary, which is interesting to me, is developing a Tomb Raider and Skull Island anime series. While already working with the production studio for an anime adaptation of another of their properties, Netflix and Legendary Television are expanding their relationships, and they have announced 2 new anime series based on Kong, Skull Island, and Square Enix's Tomb Raider franchise. We got a tweet right here from NX on Netflix that says the most iconic heroine in video games is jumping into animation. Tomb Raider is a new anime series from at Legendary following Lara Croft after the events of the video game reboot trilogy. The first series, entitled Skull Island, will be a new chapter in Legendary's Monsterverse franchise and will center on a group of shipwrecked characters as they desperately attempt to escape the most dangerous place on Earth. That would be America right now with COVID, right?
Sorry.
The mysterious island home to prehistoric monsters, including the greatest titan of them all, Kong. The series will be written and executive produced by Brian Duffield, who did Underwater, Love and Monsters, and Spontaneous alongside Jacob Robinson via his Tractor Plants production label, with Powerhouse Animation behind Castlevania, which is an amazing anime, and Blood of Zeus, serving as the animation studio for the project. The tentatively titled Tomb Raider, I like how they said tentatively titled, will center on the video game icon Lara Croft and pick up after the events of the celebrated reboot trilogy that concluded with 2018's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The series, which is being written and executive produced by Tasha Howe, The Witcher, Blood Origin, and Red Sonja, will chart the globe-trotting heroine's latest and greatest adventure as she explores new territory. In addition to Ho, the series will be executive produced by DJ2 Entertainment founder and CEO Dimitri M. Johnson, Sonic the Hedgehog, Stephen Bagal, and Howard Bliss and Robinson for Tractor Plants. Man, I don't even know what to state when it comes to this about what's going on. I just know big things popping over at Netflix, and it seems like they don't care about no competition. They don't care what Disney's doing. They don't care what HBO's doing. They're just going to keep trucking along with what they're doing. They see Sony buying Crunchyroll. That's cool. We'll just make our own anime from stuff that's already popular that people like. I mean, what do you guys think about them adapting these 2 series and the way that they're doing it?
Well, let me ask you real quick, Indy. Are there any Netflix anime series that are on right now on Netflix that you've been a fan of?
Everything that's on there, especially Castlevania. Like Castlevania is amazing. The Witcher anime that they're talking about they developed is real good. It's a lot of good anime on there among the stuff that's already on there, but a lot of the Netflix original anime, you know me, I covered it. Voltron, the Transformers joint that's on there, the War for Cybertron. They when Netflix develops their own anime, it's to a similar production value of what Crunchyroll does when they're developing their own anime. It's just dope. It's just really good. And I have high expectations for Kong because of when it's taking place, because we get to see, hopefully we get to see the Kong we saw in Skull Island grow to be the Kong we're going to see in Godzilla versus Kong. And the fact that they're taking Tomb Raider past Shadow of the Tomb Raider and stuff that's out there, which means if you don't want spoilers, go play the 3 games.
I gotta finish them now. When you were reading that, I'm like, oh man, I gotta finish this trilogy of games. I gotta finish this quick.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really, really good, man. Really, really good. And the fact that the production house, the anime house, and then the people they have producing and directing are all top notch. They're going all in.
Yeah, I'm with you. When it comes to Netflix anime original series, I think they do a fantastic job, man. Like you mentioned, Castlevania, Voltron, the list goes on and on. The Zeus or Blood and Zeus or whatever it was called? I did see that on Netflix, but I never got a chance to actually check it out for myself. I love the creative people that they have on board with both of these series, to be perfectly honest with you. Kong, I'm definitely looking forward to. I mean, you tell me you're going to give me a monster, a monster anime series. Give it to me, man. Give it to me. Tomb Raider, I'm already on board with because I have loved what I've seen so far in the progress that I've made in the Tomb Raider video games themselves. So the fact that this is going to be like a continuation from those events, I think is pretty smart, because I think they knocked it out of the park with the actual video game franchise with this trilogy. So take full advantage of it. You know, you've got a younger Lara Croft, a lot more adventures in her life. I think this kind of opens it up creatively of what you can certainly do with the character animation wise. And yeah, when it comes to Kong, I think for me, I just trust Netflix at this point when it comes to their original series. Let alone their animated series. So, anime is taking itself very seriously these days. You know, when they talk about, I mean, we even have a He-Man anime series that's supposed to be coming from Kevin Smith himself also. So, yeah, everybody's doing anime series right now because the production is just at a top notch. You can have some incredible storytelling with it. So I'm excited. I think these are both two great titles to turn into an anime series.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you brought up the He-Man, also a Netflix original, directed by Kevin Smith. There's episodes that are written by Mark Bernardin. You know what I'm saying? Bringing in that Fat Man Beyond team. That I'm upset that that's not out yet. I remember Kevin Smith talking about, like, I thought it'd be out tomorrow. We were done with everything. But the thing with animation is y'all might not see it till 2020. I don't want to wait till 2022. I feel like with the success of Voltron, with the success of other things that we see in our past come back forward, Saint Seiya has been redone I don't know how many times, which is a classic anime back from I think Saint Seiya started like in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Around that Voltron, Silverhawks, or you know what I'm saying, that type of time. And it came forward with the Transformers. He-Man is prone to be successful. And why not, you know what I'm saying, take that and the best way to tell stories that we've seen, especially from video games, is through animation. So why not just give us what we want?
I gotta say though, I'm really excited for the He-Man series, and my prediction on why it's taking so long, because during COVID-19, Kevin Smith was like mentioning that he's been going back into the script and rewriting dialogue. I guess he just kind of assumed it wasn't a big deal, but for the animators, it's like, no, now we have to rewrite, we have to redraw this entire scene out or something like that. That'd be my guess, anyways. I also do want to take a quick moment to mention the trolls that we might be getting throughout this episode, who are probably going to try to say it's not anime if it's made in America. To that I say, to that I say, maybe that would have been true back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. But now it's kind of like the thing about anime is that its definition has kind of changed over time, which, you know, it's fine. It's fine for it to change. It's kind of been more now referred to a style, less about where it's been made. You know, a lot of people try to compare it to champagne, how it's not really champagne unless it's made in France. But I disagree with that. You know, if it's made the same way that they do it, then I don't see why it can't be called champagne in America too, just like with anime. That all being said, yes, I really have enjoyed a lot of Netflix's original animes that they've done. And I actually prefer, if I find out there's an anime on Netflix and on Crunchyroll, I prefer watching it on Netflix because I know it won't be censored. What really annoyed me was that, so, you know, my girlfriend's gotten me into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and we started season 4, which is not on Netflix, but it is on Crunchyroll. The issue is that season 4 is censored on Crunchyroll, just like every season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is censored, but it's not censored on Netflix. And, you know, and it's weird to me that it's even censored because, you know, in terms of other anime, it's really not that violent compared to like other animes out there for sure. But yeah, with that all being said, you know, I do like that that Netflix is definitely, you know, they're not afraid to let artists be really creative with their series. Like you look at Castlevania, I feel like any other network that show would have been pitched to, you would have never seen, that show would have never seen the light of day. And I love that Netflix is not afraid to let people be creative. And I also love their variety because you can go from, you know, adult animes like Castlevania, but you also have your kids animes too, like War for Cybertron and then the Voltron TV series as well. And yet they all keep that same really good quality with all of them.
And I also love the fact that it's being produced by Legendary also. I mean, I love what Legendary usually puts out, honestly. I always feel like they've got a Baby Yoda mug is back. Yeah, always, man, always. But yeah, I do love that it's Netflix teaming up with Legendary. I love what they were able to do with Skull Island already. I just think that they have a really good way of being able to produce some incredible storylines without having to go too far over the budget. I just feel like they really have a good grasp of their own properties that they possess. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that combination is going to be like for the small screen.
Now, I'm sorry. So the Kong anime series, is that going to be tied into the movie, like in the same continuity?
I don't know. I have to look at the article again. I don't recall what it said. But
that's what the article reads like. But it just seems like it takes place right after where Skull Island ended, and it's like somewhere way before where Godzilla
versus Kong.
Yeah. So Matt, like I said, if they're smart, we get to see Kong grow.
Yeah, that's a good point because there is a massive growth spurt for Kong. So yeah, maybe that'll get explored in the anime series a little bit. I'm looking to see what the anime style is going to be like, if they are going to incorporate CG or not. I wonder if they would have specified that in the article itself, if it's going to be heavy like CG, like when you look at the classic, because they did have a Godzilla Netflix trilogy also. I'm wondering if it would be on in par with that.
The anime studio that they have is known for CG, similar to like they can do stuff like they did in the Godzilla, or like they're doing now in the final season of Attack on Titan, where it looks more animated, but it's actually CG.
I think some of just the big ass kaiju battles or the big monster battles will probably look pretty spectacular. So that's what I'm really looking for in anime style.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out that Stuart said about the people saying if it's made in America, it's not anime. Tell that to Monty and the fact that he's from Wall Island, you know what I'm saying, and the fact that he created what was loved in being Ruby, you know what I'm saying, which is technically still talked about as an anime, even though the show's fully made in CG. So. I mean, it's not like Stuart said, it's not about where it's made. It's about the style that influenced it on what we're getting.
Yeah. And the big reason I bring that up is because one of my friends, he had like a blog where he talks about anime a lot. So he had a top 10 list and he talked about his top 10 favorite anime villains. And apparently he had a lot of trolls giving him crap because he put Zuko on the list, and people were trying to say he's not an anime villain.
You tell true anime fans that Avatar: The Last Airbender is not one of the reasons why anime is so successful in America. Like dead serious. And they're gonna look at you. You got people looking at you like you crazy. That is an anime. So it's Korra. Everything doesn't have to be Ronin Warriors, Dragon Ball, and stuff like that. It's all about the influences. It's not about, you know what I'm saying, where it's from. Period.
Yeah.
If you go over to England and somebody's rapping to you, it's not rap because it's not from America. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So let them complain. I know we'll be watching both. So that's all.
Oh yeah, I'll be watching both. I'll definitely be watching both for sure.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Man, I tell you, Kong and Tomb Raider just getting a huge push in regards to their franchises lately. So I'm all here for it.
Netflix is tapping into everything that Disney and Warner Brothers doesn't know.
Pretty much. I mean, look, Netflix doesn't mind being in debt. Let's just say that they clearly don't mind being in debt as long as they're putting out quality and keep people coming. They'll take it. They'll take it.
They're going. What's Marvel and DC? What's not related to Marvel and DC that people actually like?
Netflix's credit score has got to be just disgusting. Like as much debt as they're certainly in, as much as they have to certainly pay people back, I'm pretty sure Netflix's credit score looks terrible, man.
No, all they gotta do is bring Dave Chappelle back once, and they'll get a whole bunch of money.
Well, they gotta pay Dave Chappelle first to even show up.
Yeah, I think it evens out.
Oh,
I think it evens out. Yeah.
I was also going to say, I feel like after his bit that he did a while ago, I feel like Netflix would not be dumb enough to not pay him.
For real. Definitely. Because HBO Max sure enough took off the Chappelle show. Was like, look, we'll keep you around. Stop. We'll do whatever you need us to do.
Yeah, whatever you need.
It'll be smart. But speaking about Netflix, segue. I like that. I just love that. We have a news on one of Netflix's top shows. You guys like the Stranger Things?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I love the Stranger Things. And come to know is that the Stranger Things is finna give us more of what we love in the way that we love it. Stranger Things star teases just how scary season 4 will be. Part of what makes Netflix Stranger Things so enjoyable for fans is that it blends together a variety of different tones to create a compelling experience. With star Gaten Matarazzo, I brutalized his last name, recently expressing that the upcoming season will be as scary as yet, with each season of the series escalating the threats, and with season 3 of the series seeing a massive showdown between the show's heroes and the monster that dwarfed an entire mall's food court. This is surely means that Dustin will face off against some truly gigantic foes, both in their scale and their deadliness. Season 4 of Stranger Things is now filming. When asked by US Weekly to describe the season, he in one word said, "Yikes." As far as why this was the word chosen, he detailed, I think most would probably say it's the scariest season out of the previous 3, which I love because it's very fun to film. Confirming just how scary last season was, the final episode saw what appeared to be the death of David Harbour's Chief Hopper, who sacrificed himself to save others. Luckily, fans only had to speculate about this fate a few months, as the first teaser trailer from season 4 confirmed that Hopper may have vanished from Hawkins, Indiana, but was alive and in Russia. Matarazzo noted that most of the cast was prepared for this unlikely return. I guess most of the cast had a pretty good idea that he might be making his return, but they weren't too sure about it from the beginning, the actor admitted. By the time we got into the table to read, we all started reading together. It had been pretty clear, but it was great to have it confirmed when we saw David there. He isn't the only member of the cast teasing frightening things in the new season, as co-star Joe Keery also claimed the new season would be the scariest yet when discussing the adventure last year. I wouldn't call the Stranger Things necessarily scary. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not haunting. What is it? The haunting on House Hill or the hill on the House of Haunting, whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying? It's not that, but it's something that definitely gets some jump scares out of you. You know what I'm saying? That they get you into the kids and then throw something at you to try to it's like jarring rather than scary to me. What do you guys hear about this? That this will be the scariest season ever?
Well, first, I'm really upset that this article just completely forgot about Max's brother, Mr. Dacre Montgomery, that wind up getting killed in the freaking in the mall too. Like, look, David Harbour's not the only person there. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's show Dacre Montgomery some love too, man. I thought that scene was fantastic between him and Max, just the emotional side of things. But yeah, it's like Stranger Things season 3 for me was a much needed uptick in just action and suspense in general, especially after season 2, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. But so I love the trajectory that they wind up having for season 3. For me, it just kind of put renewed life into the franchise to really get me wanting to look forward to season 4. So if they want to make season 4 scary, like I thought season 1 was probably the scariest that we had seen so far. If I had to compare all 3 of the seasons, season 1 still holds itself for me in that sense, just because it was new and frightening and just, you know, new images and creatures we had never really seen before. But I did feel as though season 3 just kind of upped the level a little bit. But if they want to go scary for season 4, bring it, man. I feel like that's you know, that would fit this genre perfectly with what you know, these brothers have been trying to achieve with this very classic 80s vibe that they're going for. So I'm here for it. Bring on the scare if they really want to.
I definitely agree with you when it comes to that. But season 1 stopped, like, Stranger Things stopped being scary for me when they started wrapping the recaps of Stranger Things on different television shows, or they started making fun of the Upside Down on MTV. You know what I'm saying? Like during the war shows and different stuff like that. That's when it stopped being scary for me. But
it became too pop culture at that time.
It became way too pop culture too quick. And they I'm hoping they change the tone a little bit, change the way that they show us stuff. Because it started, a perfect example to me of that is Supernatural started in the first couple of seasons being scary. And then the minute Supernatural became pop culture, everything just felt like it turned into Buffy for me. It was no longer Supernatural. So that's what Stranger Things is to me. It's still exciting, amazing show. It's just in that Buffy the Vampire state right now.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. Like, I definitely feel like season 1 was kind of the only season they really tried to have a spooky atmospheric environment with the show, but then they kind of just were going more for entertainment when it came to seasons 2 and 3, because, you know, the show was really popular and they wanted to try to keep that popularity. It was also when they tried to do like new things, like especially in season 2, that to me just didn't really work that well. Like they even tried to like set up a spin-off show that I really hope doesn't go through, because that episode was just so bad. That said, you know, I do think that season 3 definitely wasn't the scariest, but it definitely was kind of the goriest season for sure. So I'd be kind of interested to see if what this kid means, or actually, is he even still a kid? I have no idea. Hollywood kids grow up so fast. But anyways, what I'd be curious to see if what he means by when he says scariest is if they're going back to the more subtle, like kind of, you know, atmospheric horror that the first season have, or if they're going to kind of go for just more gore like they were in the previous season, or maybe they're going to try to do a mixture of both. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is the latter. Like they're going to be probably going to have like that gore factor come back, but they're also going to have like they're going to go back to kind of being a little bit more subtle with the horror aspect of it. But yeah, I've so far been I don't think season 2 or 3 came close to as great as season 1 was, but I still really enjoyed seasons 2 and 3. So I definitely look forward to season 4. And with it hopefully being the last season, I think. I definitely think there's a lot of. I hope that they really go all out with this and have a lot of fun.
I do love your description of it, atmospheric horror. That's definitely what I feel like when I watch season 1 for sure. So yeah, I do hope that they kind of go back to that for a season 4 a little bit more. And you're right, like when it comes to season 3, definitely a little bit more gory. But I thought that they took a big step forward based off of what we wind up getting in season 2. Like for me, not to say that it was right up there with season 1, but I thought it was a really great path to getting back to that type of popularity once again. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have in season 4. I do expect them to do big things once again. I was impressed with seasons 1 and 3, so I'm expecting season 4 to kind of be along that same path. And I've always thought I heard the Duffy brothers talk about that they had plans for like 5 or 6 seasons. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe we get one more season after this. I don't necessarily want to push him too much just because of the fact that it's like a lot of these kids are growing up, they're probably ready to move on to other and bigger projects and things like that. So if they didn't want to go past season 4, I would get it, but maybe 5 seasons I would be cool with, but we'll see what happens.
It depends on how old these kids start looking. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably absolutely right. And I think also just how much more story do you have to tell, right? I mean, you don't want to drag it on. I mean, we've talked about, Lost and things like that in the past of what happens when you have to stretch out a show that's not meant to be that long. I feel like the Duffys probably have material for 5 or 6 seasons. Whether or not, Netflix wants to keep them around for that long, we'll definitely see. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised too, Indy, if it has a lot to do with how quickly some of these kids do end up aging.
Yeah, maybe Stranger Things.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was like, maybe Stranger Things can be smarter than The Flash and end it in its height than letting it just die slow.
I mean,
yeah,
you might be honest. Like, I don't even know how old the kid is that, Stuart, we were just talking about the guy who did the interview for this article. I don't even know how old he is, but I swear he's probably aging pretty quickly right before our eyes.
Yeah, real life, he's probably like 33.
Yeah, probably he'll come back this season and he'll have like a man voice. Like, what happened? All of a sudden, like your voice just dropped 5 octaves. Yeah,
I think one of the funniest things to find out, like, about kind of Hollywood and the way like their contracts work with kid actors is one of the kids from Stranger Things. I think the main kid, he was in Game Grumps once, and Danny and Aaron like both were trying to watch their language around him, and the kid was like mentioning, "Oh yeah, you guys can curse in front of me, it's fine, but because my contracts with Stranger Things, I'm actually not allowed to curse on camera, apparently." Which I find that just like really bizarre. Like, wait, they can do that?
That's pretty funny. I didn't know that was contractual sometimes. That's pretty hilarious.
Or it could be like a movie that Will Ferrell somebody's making where they contract the kids, they have to curse every time they're on camera. Sell my movie. Curse. So that'd be interesting. Speaking of, if your guys are ready to move on, because I see the way Adam got the banner set up. Speaking of scary, that was horrible.
I don't remember how I had the banner set up, so I'm in the dark right now.
Yeah. Speaking of scary, we got another thriller to tell you guys about because there is another sequel for a scary movie in the works. I'm gonna stop doing that. It's not working. Yes. Cloverfield sequel in the works with Batman spinoff showrunner. This is an exclusive from the Hollywood Reporter. The creature feature that launched a shared universe when it released in 2008. Cloverfield, the J.J. Abrams produced horror hit in 2008 that launched filmmaker Matt Reeves on the path of a genre auteur, is getting a sequel. Abrams' Bad Robot banner and Paramount Pictures have tapped rising British scribe Joe Barton to pen the script for the project, which, unlike his predecessor, will not be in the found footage format. Thank the Lord, according to sources. Abrams will produce along with Bad Robot head of film Hannah Michele. Reeves is not involved in the project. Cloverfield was a monster movie shot in the then popular found footage style to reflect the growing ubiquity of video cameras. It followed a group of 20-something New Yorkers as they tried to navigate a city during an attack by a giant monster. The movie was made under the radar and used a viral marketing campaign to tease out interest. The tactic worked. The movie made like 25 million, had a massive opening weekend of 40 million, and went to gross 172 million worldwide. It begat a Cloverfield universe, which sat two more modestly budget movies, 10 Cloverfield Lane and Cloverfield Paradox, released in 2016 and 2018, respectively. Those movies were originally developed as separate movies, but were folded under the Cloverfield banner, tying them to a linked story with science fiction and monster themes. When Paradox disappointed horribly, I'm adding the word horribly, critically, and being sold off to Netflix, and with Adams' attention seemingly focused on his deal with Warner Media, it was presumed that Cloverfield franchise was laid to rest. No brand in Hollywood ever dies. Details of the take are being kept hidden under Central Park. Barton created and wrote the East Meets West crime Girahaji. I think I've watched that. BBC to Netflix. But he recently made headlines when he stepped in as showrunner for HBO Max's Batman-themed Gotham City Police Department crime show after Terrence Winter, then previously showrunner, departed over creative differences. Now, we've talked a lot about that Batman show. How do you guys feel about him being tapped for this cinematic Cloverfield sequel?
Bit mixed on it. My biggest thing is that while I really enjoyed the first Cloverfield movie, and I also really enjoyed Cloverfield Lane, I did think, I was really curious with Cloverfield Paradox how they were going to be tying it all together, essentially. And when they kind of just had that lazy explanation at the end of, oh, multiverse, there you go. That's how it's all tied together. They're not like actually tied together, but multiverse. So, that's why you see the same brands, the same like products being used in every film. That was when I'm just kind of like, oh, well, that's pretty lame and disappointing. But with this now being a direct sequel to the first one, I'm a little more optimistic because I would be curious to learn a little bit more about like the origin of the monster. And now that you're not kind of like stuck in that found footage format, I feel like it gives you a lot more room to explore with that monster, and gives you a lot more. It opens up the world is basically what I'm getting at. So I would be kind of curious to see where they head with the sequel. Definitely.
For me, I find it interesting that Joe Barton is currently working on a Matt Reeves project with this Gotham PD thing, and then he's also working on a previous Matt Reeves project with Cloverfield, considering that he directed the first Cloverfield, which is pretty interesting. I wonder if these two know each other, or if they're super familiar with each other's work, or if they've teamed up. Like, it feels like maybe Joe Barton is buddies with Matt Reeves, and he's like, you know what, hey man, we got this opening for this Gotham PD. Let's bring you in here. Let me also help you maybe get this position in this Cloverfield movie. So maybe it's all about who you know in Hollywood. Who certainly knows. I will say this, Joe Barton's name definitely has been brought up a lot. We talked about him in last week, if not the week before, when he was announced as the Gotham PD kind of, and now he's being tapped for the Cloverfield movie. Maybe they just really love his style and what he can kind of bring for another installment. Like, maybe he'll bring a different vibe to this Cloverfield franchise that's a little bit different from the found footage or the underground storytelling from 10 Cloverfield Lane. Like, maybe he's really going to bring a different perspective from this franchise. So we'll see what happens. His show was it Giri Haji. I think I started watching the first episode of it, but I do believe it's like subtitled because I believe it's in a different language, if I'm not mistaken. So I wasn't able to make it through the first episode just because when I started watching it was super late at night, and I didn't, the idea of staying up late and having to read while watching is just like, no, it's a bad combination. But I will say this, really big fan of the first Cloverfield. I actually enjoyed 10 Cloverfield Lane. I thought Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Goodman did fantastic jobs in that movie. But I was not the biggest fan of Paradox at all. Definitely one thing that I would love to erased from my memory. But if this is plans on being a direct sequel to what we wind up getting in the first one, count me in. I do want to see what happens directly after that particular point, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe 10 Cloverfield Lane takes place maybe around that like just that same parallel time, but just from a different perspective, like outside of the city, if you will. So I want to see what kind of happens after the attack. So count me in. I guess maybe Joe Barton and Matt Reeves just kind of are meant to work together in some way or another, even though I know Matt Reeves isn't part of this Cloverfield movie. Just the fact that he at least helped launch it, I think it's pretty cool that Joe Barton is attached to it.
To kind of answer the question there about when 10 Cloverfield Lane takes place. It's so I know this because I've actually followed a couple of channels that actually like are literally dedicated to find out how like the Cloverfield movies could be connected. And it kind of goes back to not just the movies themselves, but like these fake websites that were made by the creators of the films, like by J.J. Abrams himself, that were filled with these fake articles and these fake found footage, things that were meant to be like tie-ins. Yeah, great marketing for sure. And so the theory is that the monster was killed back in 2008, and the events that took place in 10 Cloverfield Lane in 2016 were somewhat related to Cloverfield. Like maybe the monster was part of the alien invasion that we see at the end of 10 Cloverfield Lane, but it wasn't like directly tied in. And that's why I think that Paradox's ending really disappointed me, is that there were just so many like threads that you could use to like have this really cool connective tissue. So it was really weird when they just kind of went with the lazy they're not actually connected kind of a thing, because then it kind of felt like all those fans that have been like, following it from the beginning, following the websites, the blogs and everything, I definitely feel like, there's kind of a feeling of wasting your time after all that, if that's what they're going to go with. And yeah, I definitely don't blame them for feeling that way.
So what you're telling me is Cloverfield needs Kevin Feige.
Yes. Or at the very least, not J.J. Abrams. I love him, but like, if you're going to have mystery after mystery after mystery, you really should have an answer to these questions before, adding more questions to your questions.
He needs a Damon Lindelof in his life, the gentleman from Watchmen, who helped work alongside with him on Lost. The idea of being able to tell those kind of intricate stories, but still have an end result at the end of the day. I do think Damon Lindelof would probably tackle something like Cloverfield really, really well, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I 110% agree with that.
And I will say that, because they did even mention in the article that Cloverfield was kind of filmed out of nowhere and then kind of brought to our attention. Didn't they do the same thing with Paradox? I believe Paradox was something that was filmed in secret too, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we've got this new Cloverfield sequel. I'm like, what the hell? Like, where does come from?
It came out of nowhere.
Literally, the trailer came out the same day, and it was during Super Bowl Sunday, where out of nowhere they had a teaser going, find out how these movies are connected on Netflix now.
Yeah, that was nuts. I've never made it through totally any of those three movies. I have not made it through. The found footage problem is that I got found footage out with like Blair Witch and stuff, like the stuff that was doing it before, and it's just something that when I was trying to watch with the shakiness of the camera, stuff like that, it makes me nauseous.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I mean, I can see that, yeah.
So I haven't been able to finish, but I always went and read the lore, and because it was always something that piqued my interest. And like you said, Stuart, when I read how they did the ending of Paradox, it kind of made me relieved that I didn't dedicate myself to getting fully enthralled in everything that was going on with those movies, because it was a letdown in the end. So hopefully this is something that can retcon or fix, the situation and make it better, because if they are claiming multiverse, maybe this is something that can reboot or fix everything that they did wrong in order to get this franchise going like it's supposed to be.
And then from what I understand, there was that, which I still haven't seen, which is too bad because it looked cool. There was a World War II zombie horror film that was released the same year as Cloverfield Paradox. And originally that was supposed to be another tie-in, but they ended up dropping the Cloverfield name to it because of like the disappointment that Paradox had. So they ended up just dropping the title from that movie and just making it its own standalone movie.
I do like if they would have told the story properly, where if it was some entity that was trying to invade all of these multiverses and was doing it in different ways, and then Cloverfield was that thing. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I feel like could have been done. They just could have told how it connected. It's so many different ways they could have did it.
Yeah, I completely missed the I really just don't even remember Cloverfield Paradox, honestly, and I think that's probably for good reason. So yeah, I might have to do some refreshing courses on Paradox.
Last thoughts I want to give really quick on Cloverfield, the first one, is that normally I think doing a high budget found footage film is a really bad idea, because the whole thing that makes found footage so unique is when it's low budget and you can make it, you give it that feeling like what you're watching because of how low budget it is, because you're not seeing like big, full scale, like, things like that. It makes it come off as creepier. It makes it feel like something that's actually real, and it kind of gets taken away when you use high budget. I think Cloverfield is that exception. Cloverfield is one of the few movies that it's a high budget found footage film, but it does it really well, surprisingly.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed the found footage aspect of the first one. It probably maybe came at that tail end of the found footage crave that we wind up having, where it's like, okay, you make the cut barely in regards to this is acceptable. But going to Dino Real Soul, he said you guys should make a Discord so you guys can watch a movie or show together in real time. Saw 2 movies already with my cousin. So much fun. We do have a Discord. It's a part of our Patreon, actually. So if you guys want to go ahead and continue to support the channel, you certainly can do so in other ways if you'd like to. Patreon.com/aplusopinions. We, in fact, do have a Discord available. If you are, in fact, a member, we are continuing to grow our community there, where we pretty much talk a little bit, literally, about everything. So it is made available. We probably ourselves have to be a little bit more active on it. Maybe that'll be our next course of action. But it definitely is available up there for you guys, along with audio to all the audio onlys for each of the episodes also. So check it out, patreon.com/aplusopinions, if you guys do want to go ahead and support the channel in any way that you certainly can. There's like a $1 tier, which does give you access to the Discord. There's a $5 tier and a $10 tier, and they all offer either exclusive content or early access content. So yeah, check it out for yourself and see if you want to go ahead and support the channel, because we do have to keep the lights on around here. So we appreciate the support, guys.
Yeah. We don't keep the lights on. We don't keep these cool backgrounds like this, because then we don't have proper lighting. That's what happens. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if they can fix the whole Cloverfield thing. But the whole found footage died when the phone technology started being able to do stuff properly. Like the cameras we have on phones now are sometimes better than the cameras they're actually making movies with.
And I actually am kind of utilizing that in. I don't know if you guys read the script I sent to you guys, but I wrote a short film that is supposed to be like mostly found footage. And so one thing I'm going to have in it is that you have a professional camera like in the movie that's being shot for a majority of the clips that you see, but you'll also see a good majority of the clips being shot on specifically this camera. And what's funny is, because of how amazing the quality is, what I think it's going to look like is, I think that when it switches to the phone camera, it's going to look exactly the same. That's my hope anyways,
Nice. I do want to give a shout out to Joe Barton for being able to attach himself to some great projects here. For me, the fact that he is getting more recognition and notice and getting more opportunities out there, it definitely does bring to my attention that, yeah, maybe I should start checking out some of the stuff that he has worked on in the past. So maybe I'll go ahead and put that on my watch list, the Jury and Haji, and see if I can really get into it. So I'll definitely continue to check out his work.
Definitely. Well, this was quick. We got one story left for you guys. And what would you guys think it would be? What would you think it would be? DC related. How do we always end on a DC related story? It happens every time. I think Adam does it on purpose.
I do. Like, you got to keep the viewers around. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep them anticipating some of the big. Like, we can't blow our load at the top of the show with all of our great content, right? We got to keep you around, people.
Facts. We have something amazing that's going to happen. Something that I'm really into. I don't know how everybody else is going to feel about this, but man, we have the reason the reason to watch Titans season 3 this year. There's no other reason to watch it other.
I mean, we'll see what Stuart says. We'll see what Stuart says.
Yeah, I know. I'm setting it up for Stuart just to destroy everything I'm saying right now. Titans season 3 does something that the DCEU couldn't do themselves. They're introducing Tim Drake as Titan season 3 cast. Jay Licurgo. How do you pronounce that, Adam?
Lisurgo. Jay Lisurgo. I could be completely butchering that too. I don't know what he is. Maybe I'll look it up. He looks like he's Puerto Rican. He looks like he could be my brother.
Right? He does look like he's a part of the A+ family, doesn't he? That's a handsome young lad right there. But Tyson season 3 has cast Jay in the recurring role of Tim Drake. Recurring means more than once. Reoccurring. Drake is described as a streetwise kid who managed to grow up on the toughest streets without losing his indelible belief in heroism. His easygoing demeanor is backed up by his near genius mind, a natural detective with the perception of detail far beyond his years. Fans of the Batman comics will recall that Drake served with Batman as the third Robin. Jay is the next set to appear in a supporting role in Matt Reeves' upcoming feature, The Batman. Though he will be playing Drake in the film as well remains to be unclear. His previous credits include the critically acclaimed HBO series, I May Destroy You, and the Amazon short, Father of the Bride. He is repped.
You okay there, Andy?
I'm sorry, my internet decided to hiccup right there.
Oh, okay. What happened? Okay.
Yeah, he is repped by Grandview and Insight Management. Drake is the latest DC character to be announced for season 3 of Titans. Variety exclusive reported that Savannah Welch will join the show as Barbara Gordon, with the series renewed for a third season on November 19th. However, it was announced that September 22nd, 2020, the DC Universe is moving out of the original scripted series, with its remaining scripted originals shifting over to HBO Max, like Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn. So, guys, let's ask Stuart first. How do you feel about them adding yet another character to Titans season 3?
Before I answer that, I gotta double check if I heard that correctly. So it's not confirmed he's playing Robin, but he will be in the Batman as well.
Yes,
that's okay. That's really interesting. I'd be very curious to see if he's actually going to be playing Tim Drake in that as well, just like a different version of it. That'd be kind of cool.
One thing I do know is that the Batman is going to have nothing to do with Titans.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And if if he plays Tim Drake, that's going to confuse the hell out of a lot of people trying to watch this series. And it's going to be interesting if they because this is a younger Batman, right, that we're seeing out of the Batman. And if they bring in Tim Drake and then he's the first Robin, it's going to piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But how do you feel about this? I'm curious, Stuart. Let us know how you feel about Titans adding another character to already crowded roster.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just put it perfectly. You're adding another character to a crowded roster. I love Tim Drake, and I'm glad that we're finally seeing Tim Drake in live action. But I think having him as a reoccurring role in a show that has too many characters may not be the smartest decision. But that said, I don't think it would have been a bad idea at all if they wanted to bring him in for an episode and maybe set up something. Like, I think this would be really cool if what they were setting up here is a Young Justice spinoff show that they could, use to kind of shorten the load of the cast that they already have with the Titans cast right now, in order to make it a lot easier to focus on the characters that they have, and also introduce new characters too in their new spinoff show. Because I would love to see a Young Justice show starring, Tim Drake, and then also having Connor Kent Superboy as well. Maybe introduce the Cassie Wonder Girl into that. That way, you shorten the cast from Titans, so we have less characters that the show has to constantly focus on, and you have a whole new show that gives, that probably would have have a younger cast that would give like, younger viewers something to look forward to watching as well. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm very mixed on this because like I said, I really love Tim Drake. I think the first time I watched Batman the Animated Series, I think I first started with the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. So I think Tim Drake is kind of my first Robin, because when I, in that show, Tim Drake was the Robin and Dick Grayson was Nightwing. So for me, Dick Grayson, I always see him more as Nightwing, but for Tim Drake, I always see him as Robin, because even when he, kind of parts ways with Batman, he still keeps the Robin name. Even when Damian Wayne comes in, he still calls himself Red Robin. So to me, Tim Drake will always be Robin. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm also worried with them adding more characters.
I feel you there, Stuart. I feel you there, man. Yeah, I definitely mixed feelings, guys. Mixed feelings. Listen, when it comes to Jay Lucergo being cast as Tim Drake, I don't know too much of his past work, but I feel like I could probably watch a majority of his past work in like a day. Just looking at his IMDb stuff already, the Father of the Bride stuff on Amazon looks like that's only 15 minutes. So that seems like that's pretty easy to go through. It looks like he's got maybe some time in a series or two here or there, but not too many big sort of significant roles, if you will. So I feel like I could probably easily check out some of his stuff. So I am glad that they are at least introducing a Tim Drake Robin, kind of going to what you were saying, Stuart, that Tim Drake is kind of your Robin, or at least that's who you kind of grew up with, or you've always seen him sort of as Robin. For me, Dick Grayson was always my Robin for me. I guess maybe because it's just the different time periods being brought up and following him in the comics and stuff. So I've always kind of really embraced Dick Grayson from his time from Robin all the way to his character in Nightwing, if you will. But when it comes to Tim Drake, I do remember when Tim Drake was first introduced as a brand new Robin. I was definitely on board with him for a while, and then I really just kind of fell off just the whole Bat family thing in general. But it has always been really impressive to me to see just what Tim Drake's journey has been from his different iterations of Robin, but always still kind of being a main Robin in the Bat family, regardless if Damian Wayne was part of the picture. Him progressing on to become Red Robin, or just really solidify his position when it comes to the Bat family. So I have been impressed with Tim Drake. Just like they talk about, right? It's a kid that's streetwise, but yet still has a really incredible intellect. I think that's just a really great combination for a character like that to have. It's almost like a Jason Todd with the streetwise stuff, but not the crazy that comes with it, right? You have the intelligence of like a Dick Grayson or a Bruce Wayne attached to it. So I love the melding here. And when I look in his IMDb for Jay, it does show just one episode of Titans, which is showing the very first episode of season 3. So I'm not exactly sure, even though the article does say that he's going to have a recurring role in it. Just his IMDb alone is at least just showing one episode of this upcoming season. Now, whether or not that expands or not, who knows? But if it is just one episode, I'll be okay with that then. I will definitely be perfectly okay with that, because clearly we have Jason Todd, who is done with the Titans, maybe done with his time as Robin, as we saw at the season finale, kind of going off on his motorcycle, if you will. Maybe we have a little bit of a time jump here since the last time that we saw him, and maybe he's gone rogue and become sort of the Red Hood now, and maybe that's why we have Tim Drake as this brand new Robin, if you will. So it definitely feels as though the first aspect, or at least one of the main storylines of this season, will be dealing with something in regards to the Bat family. Like maybe they tried to come all together to have like an intervention with Jason Todd, and it just didn't go well. Who certainly knows? But it feels as though they're probably going to have a really big impact to maybe start off this season. And maybe this will be one of their big main storylines that they kind of tackle, because we not only have the Red Hood, but now we have Tim Drake's Robin. Now we have Barbara Gordon as Oracle. You've got, Nightwing in here also. So some huge Batman influences. And guys, I can't lie, like it makes me chuckle a little bit that we even have people talking about Batwoman being on set for Titans, right? It's just like, not that I think she's going to be in the show, but it is funny that her name pops up in here. It's like, hell, let's just bring the whole Bat family into this show. Why don't we? So if it's just one episode, I'm okay with. But if we're trying to cram all these characters into an entire season, what are we still doing with Starfire, guys? What are we still doing with Superboy, right? Are we going to finally give Gar some time on screen? What's going on with Raven? It feels I don't know. I don't know. It feels a little bit misplaced, a little bit misguided, but maybe they've learned some things over the past 2 seasons and they've gotten better about juggling multiple characters. So I'm going into this season excited, but very tentatively, honestly, because there are some characters that I really want to see, and I'm so glad that they're bringing them. But it's like, at what price, right? Like, are they going to suffer because of everybody that you have in here? So I am excited, but tentatively, for sure.
One last thing, sorry, that I'll say with Tim Drake that I really hope they implement to Titans, that I really think is kind of one of the most important things about his character, is that he's a guy that becomes a superhero because he wants to be, not because of a tragic backstory, not because of like anything, really bad in his life. He just, believes in superheroes, wants to be a superhero. And I really hope they bring that into the show as well.
He definitely has that hero mentality already kind of ingrained in him. You know what I mean? So I like I said, while I didn't necessarily grow up with Tim Drake, I definitely do have an appreciation for just the mentality and type of character that he certainly is. And to have the type of longevity when it comes to being a part of comic books and being Robin for as long as he has been. So yeah, I've been impressed with him. So I hope Jay definitely brings life to this Tim Drake character and really pays him some great honor, honestly. So I'm excited. I will check out some of Jay's stuff this week though, just to kind of see what he will bring to the character.
Going by what I think is going to happen now, especially with them bringing in Barbara Gordon, I think our team is going to split up, because I know that we have to go back to Starfire's home planet at some time, and it might be a situation where not everybody goes. And and it's where we could probably have, and this is just me, throwing my thoughts out there, but what I think is going to happen, I think Barbara honestly could run things as Oracle, as far as mission structure and stuff goes. And maybe that's where you can have some of the characters in, because I don't see the Robin we have now going with them, especially with riding off and becoming Red Hood. I don't even see him popping up until maybe later in the season to start off with. And like we said before, if they're going to Starfire's home planet, we just hope this isn't something that resolves in 2 episodes. Because they should give that more credit than that. And I think they're casting themselves into a corner to the point where it's either going to be they're going to have too many characters, or it's going to be in continuous seasons they constantly have to bring new characters in order to keep the show entertaining.
And I just feel like that's just a backwards mentality. Like I don't know if this is just starting to become fan service because people are asking for them and now they want to showcase to them, or if they really do fit somewhere into the storyline. And I'm sure that they do fit into the storyline, but it's like, how perfectly are you fitting these characters into the storyline? Are you giving the people that you've already established an opportunity to grow as a character, right? Like, and if you're bringing in all these other characters, you're really kind of overshadowing your main team and your main focus. And while I get it, Titans as a show or a comic book in general and team continues to grow, but it's just like, Roy Harper's going to be in here also, right? Like that's just somebody else that we still haven't even talked about really. And he's going to have a huge role. We got Donna Troy that's dead. That's another storyline that we got to follow up on too, right? So how are we tackling all these with all these characters in like 10 episodes this season? And so I just wish it was a little bit more well thought out. But again, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe they've learned their lesson the first 2 seasons and maybe the execution will be better when it comes to season 3. I'm trying to be as optimistic as I possibly can, because there are aspects of the season I enjoy.
And who's going to tell Wonder Woman that you got Donna Troy killed?
Oh,
Like, there's some repercussions that really need to come on this show that we're not going to see.
That's a Dick Grayson and Diana conversation. That's a
you send Bruce to have that conversation. That's what that is.
I mean, did anyone really get her killed? Because if I remember correctly, she just got killed randomly because the power line just snapped, right?
Yeah,
maybe she should have a talk with the writers then. I think
I was going to say that's like more of her own issue.
Yeah,
honestly.
like no, when it happened, I'm sitting there like that killed Wonder Girl.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she said something to a writer she wasn't supposed to say, and they decided she doesn't need to be on the show anymore. That's what really happened.
Is it the actress just pissed off the writers of the show? Yeah. That's totally what happened.
I mean, like she literally lassoed Starfire and clotheslined her to a table, and I'm supposed to believe that some electricity killed Donna Troy. Like, what is going on here, guys?
Yeah, that was what you don't want to have a new scene with Dick Grayson. We can't have you on this show then.
Oh no. God, I hope they didn't ask that of Connor Leslie. Jesus.
That's what it just seems so random. Like,
I mean, maybe if Josh Whedon was on board, but maybe not. I'm sorry.
If that was the case, I can see that being what happened.
Wow.
Anyway,
we are so finna get canceled with all the Whedonites.
Anyway.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what type of train wreck this will be. And I'm
keeping my fingers crossed for Jay. Jay, I hope you kill this role, man. I hope you kill this role.
I think he would do good. I just think he's not. I think he's just set up to lose. I think we'll like him as a character. Like most of the Titans characters are good in their roles as who they be. They're just set up to lose because there's too much going on. Starfire kills it. The only one who's going to lose regardless is Beast Boy.
Yep. All time.
After everything they're doing, if Beast Boy doesn't have a third transformation by the time the season 3 starts, we're going to have an issue. I need to see a bird, a turtle. I need to see something else other than a tiger and a snake. Something else. Period.
I think a gorilla. I think they could do a gorilla really well. I feel like, come on, guys.
Just
HBO Max production now.
Ask the Flash and Legends for all their Grodd footage and just make it green. That's all you have to do.
I mean, that's what's funny. It's all produced by the same people, so I don't see why they can't just borrow assets that are already made and just copy and paste them into another thing, I feel like that wouldn't be too challenging.
Matter of fact, we went to a whole friggin' village of gorillas. They have enough gorilla footage to have him rampage a little bit as a gorilla.
I will say this, thinking about this guy, like, I thought I heard a while back of rumors about the idea of Titans maybe having to start creating, or we're going to plan on starting to creating some spinoffs. And I think you might have mentioned that too, Stuart. Like, I wouldn't mind the idea if this is the last season of Titans and they are utilizing this as a way to kind of ramp up a spinoff out of here. If they want to separate some of these characters from each other and give us like a live action Young Justice or something like that, because I feel like that's kind of what they've been leaning towards. You've kind of established the older Titans crew, so maybe now that you are bringing in all these fresh faces, maybe they are building off to a spinoff of the Titan series itself into something else for HBO Max. But
it feels like we're gonna get Batman Inc.
Oh, I mean, shit, as many Bat family members as they're kind of introducing here, maybe we do get something Bat related outside of Titans also. I don't know. I just feel like this show has to figure out what it wants to be sometimes.
I feel like
sorry.
No, I feel like this show needs to go watch every episode of Arrow, every episode of Flash, and every episode of Legends and learn how to develop characters when you have a large ensemble cast. That's what they need to do.
And I feel bad. I feel bad talking about this show because, it's one of those things. Like I said, there are aspects of the show I really enjoy that I really get a kick out of. I think for me, it's just more or less my frustration with how they tend to fumble it sometimes. Like the midway point or wrapping up the season type of thing, and it's just like, guys, we had something so good, and then all of a sudden it just went off the track. So I know I try not to be the negative Nancy. That's why I'm trying to be positive also, because there are aspects of the series I enjoy, but it's hard to not take my blinders off and see some of the problems that the series does have, though.
Well, for me, I don't think it's an issue to be negative on a show that even if you like it.
I know it's not. I just feel bad that I, what I'm saying? Like, I know it's not, but I feel bad because I want to enjoy this series more than I do.
And that's how I feel too. That's why, like with season 2, that's why I felt so disappointed with it, because episodes 2 through, I want to say, episode 6 were so good. And I'm like, this is what the show could be. So I think that's what upsets me about the latter half of season 2, when it kind of went back to the season 1 style of writing, because I'm like, no, I saw what the show could have been. You gave me a tease of what I really wanted to see. Can we go back to that? Can season 3 be like the beginning part of Titan season 2, please?
It was almost like the writers forgot that they had other characters. Or they're like, how far in the season we are? We're episode 7. Oh wait, we gotta get these people involved all of it. Wait, hold on a second. And then they wind up throwing everybody in there. That's what it felt like.
They made Trigon. They built a whole season of Trigon up, made him a joke, and then here comes Deathstroke, who you have a demon, a literal devil, and you have more problems with Deathstroke than you do Trigon. It made absolutely no sense to me at all.
To me, the first episode of season 2, it really felt like their way of just kind of being like, okay, we know season 1 was a mess. But, because you literally have a line where Dick Grayson says, I think it's time for the Titans to have a reboot. So I feel like that whole episode was them trying to say, okay, yes, we know that season 1 was a bit of a mess. We were trying to, figure out what type of show we wanted to be. We think we figured it out. So please stick around with us. And episode 2, when it followed up with episode 1, it felt like, oh, I see where they're going with the show now, and I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, it does suck that when they got to episode 7, I think it was episode 7 was the one I didn't like. But yeah, that was when it just like it was almost like they learned nothing at all.
No, you know what it was is they went, we can't afford this Trigon thing. We have to do something else.
I am curious if Trigon's going to come back at some point in time. If we're going to see him, hell, I hope they don't put him in episode 3 in season 3. That's another storyline that they got to probably tackle. But who knows? I don't think we've seen the last of Trigon. But yeah, as far as like his first impact, I think some of us were thinking that maybe they were going to build up that Trigon story to kind of roll over into season 2, to have a pivotal role, or at least kind of come back at some point in time. So I am kind of curious if they will, because I mean, we only spent 2, maybe 3 episodes with Trigon, if that. I mean, so,
and they did some good. They did some good storytelling up to then with Raven's mom and different stuff like that. And you got that payoff, and then you just got to the whole Trigon thing. They did the same thing with the Batman hallucinations and all that. Like they made Batman boring. Like I don't know what it was, and they made Bruce Wayne weird.
Like Titans.
Yeah, like
I like Ian Glenn as Bruce Wayne. I really do. I know some people didn't, but I always saw him as like an alternate universe Adam West. Like if we had stuck with Adam West longer, who would Adam West Batman turn into? And I see Ian Glenn, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably him.
Yeah, that
they should have had Ian Glenn next to Burt Ward in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been amazing. That'd have been amazing. Now, I think my problem with Ian Glenn is I was still seeing him chase around Daenerys talking about love me.
I definitely get the pushback for Ian Glenn too. I mean, I could definitely see why, because I felt like if there was a complaint for season 3 was that I don't know if a lot of people were on board with Ian Glenn as Batman. Like it may be a little bit difficult for them to kind of see him in that role, but it kind of fit for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hallucinations and the pushback that him and Dick Grayson would certainly have, and just really showcasing Dick Grayson's consciousness and really having that transformed into Bruce, and hearing Ian Glenn as Bruce kind of talk to Dick Grayson, how Bruce certainly would, or I just love what they were able to do with that episode, which I think that episode, mind you, I think was actually written by Brian Edward Hill, who is going to go on to do the Power Ranger movie with Jonathan Entwistle as well. So I think that's an interesting connection for you Power Ranger fans out there.
And he also writes for one of my favorite TV shows, the Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is an amazing show. If you guys haven't seen it,
amazing show.
It's funny too, because that show has a lot of Power Ranger actors making cameos. So Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if there's any other connection because of that, or if it's just a weird coincidence. But yeah, so it is funny. A guy who wrote Evil Dead, which had a lot of Power Rangers actors, is now doing the Power Rangers movie.
Oh, I definitely agree. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Titan season 3, man. We're keeping our fingers crossed. Good luck, Jay, with Tim Drake. Cool to have a new Robin, but we'll see what happens with Titan season 3.
We'll see how long you're around.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to transition to live viewer questions? I think we have a few.
We actually do.
Yeah.
Yay! I love live viewer questions.
Let's see here. We got Jessica Friedman. She's got a couple questions. Which other animated series would you like to see get a reboot one day? And would you like to see a Black Cat movie one day? No, I don't need a Black Cat movie. I'm cool with that one. If she wants to be in a cameo on the Spider-Man film, I'm cool with that, but I don't need my own individual Black Cat movie. I don't even know if the Black Cat and Silver Sable Silver Sable, yeah, if that's even still in production anymore with Sony, but no, I don't need a solo one. As far as other animated series I would like to see get a reboot one day, two just come to mind. Silverhawks and Thundercats would be my two that I would like to see. I know we did have one maybe like 10 years ago, maybe on Cartoon Network for Thundercats, which I was really impressed with what they gave me. But if I can see, listen, guys,
really good. It was really, really good.
We just talked about the idea of Netflix anime series. Yo, Silverhawks and Thundercats, line them up. Let's go, Netflix. Let's go. If not there, I'll even take one over at Amazon Prime. Why not? But yeah, those would be my animated series I would love to see a reboot. What about you guys?
Man, as excited as I am for Batman the animated series coming back, I really want to get my Justice League Unlimited reunion. So give us a new like sequel to Justice League. Maybe make it slightly like more mature, like for a slightly more mature audience too. But give us that same Bruce Timm art style and give us all those voice actors that we know and love.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I like that selection.
I honestly have three. I have three that I always ask for because a lot of the other ones that I wanted, I've already gotten. I've already gotten the Voltron. I've already gotten Animaniacs. So like, for me, it'd be Johnny Quest. I would love a reboot of Johnny Quest just because remember when they did the movie and they rebooted it and how good that was. I need a reboot of Captain Planet and the Planeteers. I would that was my Power Rangers before Power Rangers. I need that would, especially in the climate we're in today.
I was just about to say, maybe especially in the climate that we are in today, that would actually be a really great show to have.
Sure.
Yeah. Captain Planet fighting a new villain, COVID. You know what I'm saying? Spreading diseases and stuff around.
Listen, I'll even pitch this idea. Like, I don't even necessarily need Captain Planet to be mature. If they actually just want to do a revamp of Captain Planet, but still bring it to like a young adult type of level, but with like some really great storytelling and graphics, I would love to see that, just to kind of maybe go back to the idea of fundamental lessons, growing up as a kid and the importance and things like that. I think Captain Planet would be really great for messages like that.
And Captain Planet was already kind of mature at times. As silly as the premise was, you literally had an entire episode about like AIDS and like kind of the misinformation that comes with it, which is, I can't think of many other cartoons that tackled that.
Being addicted to drugs. One of the Planeteers got addicted to drugs and all that. It was crazy.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly.
But third and finally, and it's probably the one I want first before everything else, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
You just wanted to go along with your DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, just bring it on back, huh, Disney?
Like that Channel 9 in that block, Tailspin, DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, that was my niche right there. I might be giving my age away, but that was my niche.
I like it, man. I like it. Great choices, guys. Great choices. I love that we all have all different ones too. So yeah, man, it just reminds me of like just all the great cartoons we grew up with. Jessica also says, when do you think Harley Quinn season 3 will come out? And would you like to see John Cryer's Lex Luthor on Superman and Lois once Supergirl ends? Yeah, I'm not expecting John Cryer this year on Superman and Lois. We'll see. They do have a mysterious villain in there that looks like he's repping some Halo sort of I think that's how you put it, Stuart. Some Halo armor.
I said it looked like a mixture of Master Chief and the White Dragon from that from that short that JDF tried to push, but unfortunately,
I am wondering, there were rumors that there was going to be another Lex Luthor and Superman and Lois, maybe from an alternate universe. Who knows if that's who's underneath that armor to begin with. But I don't expect John Cryer to pop up this season. But I would like him to pop up the following season if they don't have a Lex Luthor for the first season of Superman and Lois. Then yeah, have him pop up. What about you guys? Do you want to see John Cryer on that show? And when do you guys think we'll get a Harley Quinn season 3?
I don't want to see John Cryer, not now. Develop stuff, let it come later. To be honest with you, I don't know if I want to see John Cryer. I might want to see my Lex Luthor. You know what I'm saying? The Smallville Lex. I might want to see somebody else in a role, or something else. I do believe we need to switch it up. If they're going to spin this off and fade out Supergirl, do it proper. It can still stay in continuity, but that doesn't mean you can't recast Lex and have somebody else do it.
I agree.
Yeah, for me, I'm cool with not getting him this first season, but yeah, I would love to see John Cryer come back. But if they do bring in Michael Rosenbaum, though, you got to make sure you get an extended contract with him, because if you put it only for a season or two, but then you end it with a note expecting him to renew his contract, probably not the smartest idea. but if you do, wait, what was it?
I said he be gone. The minute they contract, I'm done. I'm sick of this.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just the major thing. Is just keep that in mind. He will stick with the contract, which is good. Which is I definitely that means he is reliable. But it also means if he loses interest, he will definitely leave the show and move on to going back to his podcast, which is a good podcast, by the way. Definitely recommend checking it out.
Season 2 of Harley Quinn premiered in April. With the changes going from DC Universe to HBO Max, I'm going to say that with everything that they got skated out was supposed to drop and everything like that, I see Harley Quinn dropping probably in the fall. And I think instead of shortened seasons, you'll get you get a full season go instead of having it split. Because I still believe they split season 1 and season 2 up, and that was supposed to be one season. I think you'll get a full season, but I don't think we'll get it to the fall.
Yeah, I think they did that too, because season 2 came out way faster. Animation doesn't usually work that fast, so I would assume they were meant to be one season.
I'm going to go so far in ledge and say probably not till next year, but we'll see. I know we're a whole year away, but I still say I'll say 2022. Let's see here. AJ's got a couple questions. He got 3 questions today. He says, do you think that Eva still being the villain for season 7 will make the show feel like it's still dragging? And how do you guys think the show will progress now that Hartley is gone as Ralph, making Sue Dearborn's new story arc difficult without him? While I haven't watched season 7 of season 6 of The Flash yet, I gotta think that Eva storyline will wrap up within the first episode of season 7, right? Or second episode?
I think it'd be maybe the first 3 episodes. I don't think it'll make it drag, because the Eva storyline really didn't start until the second half of season 6. So, and it's something where her character wasn't even truthfully prominent, coming into her own until the last 2 episodes that they had aired. So I don't think it make it drag. I honestly think it's going to make season 1 hit and move a little bit more fast paced than what we're used to, because it's going to hit because of how it ended and how they got to finish up the story. It's going to hit and we'll be running. And then what's going to happen is when they're transitioning to what's going on next, we're going to have that lull while they're setting up everything else. So I honestly feel like it's going to be a little bit more fast paced and it's not going to drag. I like Eva as a villain, because she's technically not a villain. She's right to feel the way she feels with what her husband did to her. And the fact that she's not going out her way to harm good people, you know what I'm saying, to do it, she's almost like an anti-villain or an anti-hero type person, rather than being a full-fledged villain. So it's something new as far as in the dynamics of what they're going up against.
I was going to say, yeah, if my significant other trapped me in a mirror realm and I was stuck there for, several years, I'd probably want to kill them too. I definitely see her point of view.
Let's see here. He also asks, with Stargirl already filming season 2, what did you think of the show when it first premiered, and anything you want the show to introduce or improve on, or anything felt unique as its own show? As far as anything for it to improve on, I really like the pacing of the season. I didn't really have too many complaints in regards to it. At least not that I could think of off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure there are some issues that I have with it, but off the top of my head, I can't think of things that I absolutely need to change. We are going to be introducing maybe a couple more characters for season 2, but considering the fact that they've kind of handled the majority of these season 1 characters, I expect it to be just as well paced as the second season goes. I will be curious to see if it's going to be Jeff Johns that comes back to go ahead and do the writing or show running for the show. Who else they wind up kind of bringing in for it, but I just remember when it first started, I was really impressed with it, man. I thought for myself, even though it's not a CW show, it is a DC Universe show at first. I just love the production value. I thought the writing was great. I thought the casting choices were really on the money, and I thought they did a really good job with it. So I was impressed. What about you guys? Anything you guys want to see introduced or improved upon for the second season?
I mean, I definitely look forward to the villains that they've hinted at and the characters that they hinted at in the previous season that we might see. I think the thing I kind of want to see is I would love to see maybe if she's willing to come back, if they could bring back, now that we know the show is on Earth 2, if we could bring back Jesse Quick so we have a speedster as part of the team, and if she's played by the same actress from The Flash, I think that would be pretty awesome. And if they wanted to bring in more JSA members for one episode roles where they're just there to cameo and give like a little bit of mentorship, that would also be something I think would work really well with a show like Stargirl for sure.
Great suggestions.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it too. I was going to say a speedster. It's something that I really wanted to see on the show, and the show's perfect the way it is. Like, they don't really need to change nothing. I would like to see this Justice League, this JLA actually start to be formed together, and them actually start working as a team. So I would want an experienced hero to pop up, and Jesse Quick, being somewhat more experienced than they would be an interesting character to throw into the dynamic, and also the possibilities and all the rumors and the talks we would have about, oh, if Jesse Quick is canon, does that mean that we could see Barry? That's what I believe that show would need to take it to the next level. And if it did something like that, it could honestly take itself to be an elite show on the network.
I definitely would love to see a Green Lantern pop up on that show. Alan Scott. I mean, because you did reference that sort of the idea of having other JLA members of the past maybe come in as mentorships. I think a cool Alan Scott Green Lantern cameo would be pretty legit for next season at least. Let's see here. Last question from him. He says, for Flash season 7, which character do you want to have a better or more focused storyline, and how do you think Sue will be handled?
Sue's gonna get written out. That's how I feel. Like we stated before, Mr. Elastic can be played by anybody because he can shape change. They don't necessarily have to write the character out in order to get rid of the actor, you know what I'm saying, doing the character. If they get somebody that can act well enough, I don't think we'll see too much of a difference, you know what I'm saying, of what's going on. A character that I would like them to focus on, to be honest with you, is Frost. I love the character development she's having, and how she's the character of Frost itself is starting to acquire human traits. I would like to see a little bit more of her, and of course, what everybody else would say, we like to see a little bit more of Cisco.
Yeah, I can't get enough Cisco, man.
I would love to see, and I feel like the showrunner was trying not to give them screen time together because of how similar they were. But I feel like that's kind of why I want to see more screen time with them together. The recent nerd kid, who I can't remember his name, but the one who had like his web show when we first see him, I would love to see him and Cisco get screen time together, essentially, in this upcoming season, because he is going to be a series regular now. So I am really curious to see like what he and Cisco can add together, working together. So that would be cool. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I definitely don't want them to write out Sue, though, because it does seem kind of unfair for her, the actress playing her, like, oh, because, you know, my co-star was an asshole, now I'm the one who loses my job as well. So I do hope they find something for her to do, even if it means like just give Ralph a new face so she has a different co-star to play off of.
I thought I read that she was not necessarily a season regular, but I did think that I read somewhere that she was going to be a recurring character. So I'm with you. I don't necessarily think that they'll write Sue off. I mean, that's definitely not her fault. I think creatively, I think they could probably find some place for her on this series. So I do expect Sue to be kind of involved going forward, but we'll see.
Well, you do need an investigative person to stay around, and that's similar to the point she would have, which it should be Barry. You shouldn't need one. But Barry's always got something else going on that he does. That's one thing that I feel like they need to do. Let him use.
He doesn't do his job. He doesn't do his job anymore
at all. let him do his job some. But yeah, that character of Chester that you were talking about is somebody I really find interesting. I really like the actor that they have playing him, and I really do feel like you're gonna get more of him coming around. The only problem with him coming around, though, is that the rumors of Cisco Ramon leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Will be happening again,
yeah.
Which I honestly think they already started up. Every season is Cisco's last season.
Yeah, so I keep hearing those rumors, and it's one of those things where I only hope they're true for the actor's sake, because if not, then like what keeps happening when these rumors pop up is now the showrunners are going to be like going up to the actor for Cisco, like, is there something you want to tell us? No, I don't want to quit this show. I don't know why the internet keeps saying this. I still want to be a part of it. You know?
Yeah, it's save Carlos. Save Carlos, fire Candace. That should be the same. Save Carlos, fire Candace.
All right, let's move on to our last set of questions here. This is from Smell My Pee-Pee, aka he's got another name on here, Watermelon
Head. Yeah, I think that's worse than Save My Pee-Pee.
I mean, I'll take Watermelon Head at this point. We got a couple questions. He says, when the first MCU Avengers came out, what were your expectations when the trailer news broke out? And do you think that it changed superhero films?
Wow. Oh my God. This is amazing. And yes, it changed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my first thought was, even though like I had heard about this for the longest time, a big part of me didn't think it was actually going to happen. So when the trailer first came out, or I guess the first trailer was what we got at the end of Captain America. That was, the final bit of confirmation that, told me, wow, the Avengers movie is happening. We're actually getting an Avengers film.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure me and my friends pissed on ourselves immediately after first Avenger. I remember being in the theater with my friends Jonathan and Michael, and then when that sneak sort of trailer popped up, man, nerd squeals all throughout the theater auditorium. We were just so happy. I'm sure we were busting out of our seats, but we were just thrilled to actually get a first glimpse at it, honestly, and just couldn't believe that was actually happening in our lifetime. It's just like, man, all these years of being huge comic book collectors and loving these characters, and then see that we're actually going to get ourselves an Avengers movie. Absolutely incredible. Do I think it changed the superhero film? I think other movies did that for the genre way before Avengers, but I think in regards to how it changed superhero films and presenting sort of connective tissue and putting together a cinematic universe unlike anything that we've ever seen when it comes to Hollywood. Star Wars that's great and all, and Harry Potter great for the 6-7 films, but 20 something interconnected movies all averaging $1 billion. If that doesn't change the superhero genre of films, I don't know what will. So yeah, it definitely had its influence for sure when it comes to movie history.
I think the influence from those movies come from the fact that it took B and C level superheroes and made them A level stars. These were, we can't use the heroes we want to use because we license them off to everybody. So no Spider-Man, no Wolverine, none of that. So they took heroes who comics weren't even selling well and then just turned the whole industry on its head. I would say more of after watching that movie and asking myself where they're going to go after this, and then seeing The Winter Soldier, which I feel like The Winter Soldier is actually the movie that changed the way storytelling was going to happen, you know what I'm saying, in superhero movies, because to me that's still the A movie in their history. It just shows you that they keep topping themselves. It's not that, it's the fact that everything just keeps getting better. We would have thought that'd have been the creme de la creme, like that's the best we're going to get. And then we get Winter Soldier, and then we get Infinity War, then we get Endgame, then we get Guardians of the Galaxy, and we get all this other stuff. And we're like, okay. And all these heroes that they're using are B and C level heroes.
Yeah, I think that's what's really impressive. Oh, were you going to say, Stuart? I'm sorry.
I was going to say that, yeah, Indy brought up a really good point, is that when it came out too, I kind of thought I thought Avengers 1 was the end game. I thought this is what we're building up to. And now we have our satisfying conclusion with Avengers. And so when they had that Thanos tease at the end, well, yeah, I was like, oh, wow, they're going there. Okay. Another part of me was like, oh man, how long can they keep this going? Because, as fun as these movies are, I feel like if they drag this franchise out, it's just going to get worse and worse. And, even though I liked Iron Man 3 when it first came out, that didn't really reassure my worry. Neither did Thor 2. But yeah, I think Winter Soldier was the movie that showed me that, wow, no, these movies can keep the momentum going. These movies don't have to dip in quality just because they're dragging and they're continuing. They can still keep that momentum going, and it hasn't stopped ever since, I don't think.
The most boring Avenger had the best movie.
Oh, Captain America?
Captain America in no right should be entertaining, and he had the best movie. He is literally just the epitome of a super soldier. He is Jason Bourne in a costume. That's all he is. And he saved, especially like he said, after Iron Man 3, at the Thor Dark World and all that. I feel like that Captain America movie saved the MCU because it got people back invested in what was going on, and you were only able to do a Black Panther and a Civil War and stuff only after the work that Winter Soldier movie did.
I get you. Yeah, and I'm it's hard to disagree. Let's see here. He also had a second question. How did you feel when Black Panther movie was first announced? And did you expect it to be a huge hit and being the first live action Black superhero film? Did I expect it to be a huge hit? Can I be honest with you guys? Yeah, I did. I felt like you could just feel the uptick and the upswell of the anticipation level for this movie. Like when I started seeing that WWE wrestlers were literally going out and renting out movie theaters just so they can gather together like kids of minorities, or being able, people that don't have that access to go to the movies or to be able to see themselves on the big screen. I just thought to myself, this is a movement. Like this movie really turned into a movement. And so when you look at Black Panther, I mean, I could see some people maybe not thinking that movie would amount to too much. I think once it was announced and you started seeing the people that were attached to it, and you start seeing the uptick and upswell for it, if that movie didn't make $1 billion, I probably would have been surprised. So the success of the movie honestly did not surprise me at all. And I felt like by that time, because we all had already seen Civil War and how they handled Black Panther, I almost felt at that point Marvel could do no wrong. You know what I mean? It's just like his debut was off the charts already, and now you're going to give me a full-length feature film, getting the opportunity to see the first. Is it the first led Black superhero movie? Well, I can't say. I guess there are maybe a couple other ones that I can think of. For some reason, Meteor Man comes straight to mind. I don't know why Meteor Man comes straight to mind. I'm sorry. Blade.
Meteor Man shouldn't be. It should be Blade. Meteor Man was a spoof.
It was,
So
but still, like when I going back, that's just the first one that came
yeah,
back to me that really stuck with me. Robert Townsend as Meteor Man, but yeah, definitely Blade for sure. And so it's just one of those things where it's like Black Panther was the right place, right time. So not a surprise, not a surprise at all to me, at least. But what about you, Indy and Stuart? You know, how did you feel when Black Panther movie was announced, and did you expect it to be a hit?
I knew it was going to be a hit, definitely for sure. And yeah, it's like, yeah, there were other black superhero movies at the time, but none of them really had this much hype around them. And it was always around characters that no one really knew that much about. So therefore, there wasn't really that much effort put into either the writing or even the budget. Because like a movie that comes to mind for me, a really bad example is the movie Steel with Shaquille O'Neal. You know, that was a movie that you could just tell the studio had absolutely no hope for. And so it was just kind of doomed to fail, even though I do think the character could have made a really good movie had, you know, they gotten, you know, writers that actually cared. But yeah, no, with this movie, this really showed Hollywood. And I really hope more than anything, it was a giant middle finger to the guy who originally was in charge of Marvel, not Kevin Feige, but Kevin Feige's boss at the time, who essentially was kind of the one who was pushing the idea that women and minority superheroes don't sell at all. You know, he was the main reason why we never got a Black Panther movie after the first Avengers movie, like Kevin Feige originally was trying to push for. And he's also the reason why, you know, there aren't really that many Black Widow toys in stores. You know, he would basically say, make sure that you're not shipping more than 6 boxes per store for Black Widow action figures. So now, you know, seeing where we are now, seeing the hype that's going on with the Black Widow movie, and also seeing, you know, the success that Captain Marvel and Black Panther were, I really hope this feels like a giant middle finger to that asshole.
You know, and I will say this is funny that you bring up Steel too, Stuart, because I'm just thinking to myself, like, and the fact that I brought up Meteor Man, you brought up Steel, Indy brought up Blade, and now we've got Black Panther. I mean, can you just see the growth of just African American Black solo films in regards to being a representation and a hero and where they've come from? The fact that my first thought is Meteor Man and Stewart's is Steel, right? And from there we've come to Blade and Black Panther. It just goes to show you just how far along they've really come in regards to establishing themselves. It's big impacts when it comes to movies.
It's not just the Black Panther movie. It was the lead up to it with Civil War, everything that was going on. But it was the man Chadwick Boseman being cast as T'Challa, the man who played Jackie Robinson, the man who played, you know what I'm saying, all these iconic Black characters. He Thurgood Marshall, you know what I'm saying, playing Tothan Gods of Egypt, playing James Brown.
Combined, mind you, with Ryan Coogler, which I think is super important too, because of Fruitvale Station and things like that. That he's already,
bringing in Michael B. Jordan and having him play, you know what I'm saying, opposite it. Michael B. Jordan being that person who was being the big Black guy, you know what I'm saying, in movies, playing the first Black Human Torch, and you know what I'm saying, different things like that, coming from the Creed success. And being released in February, you know what I'm saying, of all months when Black Panther was released, and coming to a point where every character we were seeing on screen was a hero was Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we had Rhodey, but Rhodey was a sidekick. Yeah, we had Falcon, but Falcon was a sidekick. There was no lead hero in this Marvel Cinematic Universe, and giving us a Black Panther. Even they could have took the easy road out and gave us somebody like, let's say if they had the rights to, you know what I'm saying, X-Men, and gave us a Storm. Somebody that they knew had that type of boom around their name. But then again, taking somebody who wasn't an A-list superhero, whose comics weren't really selling like that, and taking Black Panther and putting that money and that time to develop that character behind him, introducing him to us in a Captain America movie, where coming off of Winter Soldier, where Captain America was at his height, and introducing us to this character, and then giving him his own movie to let him stand alongside those Captain Americas and Iron Man, standing side by side with them being those top tier heroes, and showing us this guy can do this too, and then giving him his own movie. And us seeing that. being called Black Panther, especially in the time in America we was at, going through the riots and the senseless killings and all that, and being able to see us in a civilization where we're powerful, where we're in charge, where we're intelligent, it just meant a lot at that time. And that's why people came out in droves to see that movie. And that's why we hurt so much with the passing, you know what I'm saying, of Chadwick Boseman and everything that he went through as a human being, to make sure that we could see ourselves on screen. That's why that movie meant so much. And that's why as soon as it was announced, we knew how well it would be, because it was needed for that time and place.
Yeah, and the people came out in droves and showed, $1 billion for that movie, if not more, type of thing. And it just goes to show you that there is a hunger for diversity and inclusion to be on the big screen. People want to be able to see themselves represented. So, it was perfect timing for Black Panther for sure.
Now, if we only do the same thing for Black Widow, because that movie deserves the same type of recognition.
Yeah, most definitely. And then last question here says, did you guys watch any of the Rush Hour movies growing up? And what did you think of them? Would you like it if Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker came back for a final installment? There are rumors of a Rush Hour 4 that was scrapped. What about you guys? Would you guys want to see a final installment between those two? And just what did you think of the movies themselves?
I mean, I really enjoyed the Rush Hour movies, but the third movie kind of wrapped everything important up. I don't think there's a need at all for a fourth one. I'd really just like them to end it where it ended.
Jackie Chan does not need to do another movie as long as he lives. He's given so much of his life to us. He is an icon. He is a legend. He doesn't need to do anything else. Like, if you're gonna have Jackie Chan in a role, let him come back like in a cameo from a cameo in Cobra Kai. Like this is what he should be. He should be on Stan Lee level now, where if you do a martial arts movie, it should just be Jackie Chan standing somewhere in the back, or like making some type of cameo in the movie. That's what Jackie Chan should be at now. Just let that man do him.
Hey, and I think Jackie Chan doing him is exactly what he's doing. I think he's picking, roles that he certainly wants to do. I know we probably haven't seen him in too much lately, because I thought I read an interview one place where Jackie said he would like to be able to show his acting range a little bit more. There was a movie that he was in with Pierce Brosnan, I think, where it was like he became like this domestic terrorist or something like that, that his daughter wind up dying. And I think the prime minister at the time was damn it, what's his name? Damn it, hold on, let me try and pull it. I think it was called The Foreigner, with Pierce Brosnan and Jackie Chan is what it was. And Pierce Brosnan, I think, was either the prime minister or something like that, but Jackie Chan's daughter wind up dying in like a domestic terrorist thing. And so Jackie Chan's character wanted answers. He wanted to find these people, and it turned into a really great, serious role, an emotional role for Jackie Chan, but also mixed in with his incredible action. I really enjoyed The Foreigner, and I would recommend it to people. But I think he's looking for roles that do allow him to kind of expand his acting ability a little bit more, because there's certainly is more to Jackie Chan than that. But I love the Rush Hour movies. The first and second ones were easily my favorite. The third one I maybe only saw once and trying to forget about, so it did leave a terrible taste in my mouth. But that's not to say that their chemistry is not perfect or beautiful with one another. I really do love the chemistry that they had on screen together. And listen, you could say that Rush Hour 3 wrapped up everything that you could possibly do. But listen, we got a Bad Boys for Life that came out of nowhere. And I thought that franchise was wrapped up and didn't have any more other kind of storytelling to certainly do. But, they wind up coming back and having $1 billion film. And I think it's in part because people love Will Smith and Martin Lawrence together. And I do think that if anybody can kind of grab that magic again, I do think it would be Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, at least for one more outing. So yeah, give it to me. I don't necessarily need a whole new franchise or a trilogy, but maybe one more. I would totally take it.
No, I don't need Chris Tucker. If you're gonna do a Rush Hour 4 and have Jackie Chan, and just make it Jackie Chan and The Rock.
I'll just replace Chris Tucker at this point. Like, if there's any, maybe Chris Tucker does need the paycheck, so maybe that's why I'm asking him, like, hey bro, just come back. I don't know what Chris Tucker's been in as of late, but he was always funny to me, and I have a feeling he's probably still pretty hilarious, but I think their chemistry alone would help push this movie. Because, like, for me, while I haven't watched Bad Boys for Life, some of the scenes and the clips that I have seen from it, I don't necessarily know if Martin Lawrence is the strongest actor in the world either. You know what I mean? I felt like maybe that movie was carried by Will Smith. I don't know. You guys certainly let me know. But I do think that they could, Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan could make a solid film together.
Every Bad Boys movie was carried by Will Smith.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this movie could be carried by Jackie Chan and other supporting characters too. I would be interested to see what they could do for a reunion.
I don't know.
But I mean, that's just me.
I think when it comes to the Bad Boys thing comparison, I see what you're saying, but Jackie Chan is just so much older than they are.
Yeah, but he can still kick ass, bro. Let's not sleep on Jackie Chan, man. His homeboy probably still doing his own damn stuff. Maybe not as much as he used to.
Maybe he needs to stop. That's what I'm worried about.
For his own sake.
But that's what makes Jackie Chan the best, though. That's what makes him so great at what he does.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be time to pass that torch on to somebody else, where even if you had him in the movie, maybe he could be some type of head of organization you know what I'm saying, he's at, and they're passing the torch, you know what I'm saying, to two new actors to carry on, you know what I'm saying, that thing. Maybe it could be something like that.
It could be. We'll see. But yeah, I haven't heard anything too much. I feel like it's something that rumors were out there. Maybe they're thinking about it, but I haven't heard anything in a while. So.
Yeah, Kevin Hart stay far away from Rush Hour. I'm just gonna say that now.
I mean, hey, if you want to reboot it, Kevin Hart might be the perfect. Let's put him and another martial artist together.
Kevin Hart and the Black Ranger from the Power Rangers movie.
Oh my God,
Johnny Bosch? Luda Lynn. Yes, Luda Lynn. Yes.
That was a joke. Though. I'm not actually serious.
Luda Lynn and Chris and Kevin Hart. Let's do it.
Luda Lynn would be perfect, but keep Kevin Hart far away from that. Yo. Keep him far away from that, yo. He already has his little buddy cop movie. Let him stay over there. I
was gonna say, I feel like if he does buddy cop movies, it's always going to be now with Dwayne Johnson.
Now you probably got to get Tony. You probably got to get Tony.
Yeah.
You got to get Tony Jaa, right? You got to get somebody that doesn't really speak maybe the best of English. It's still kind of coming on board type of thing. You got to have that language barrier in between them. So yeah, maybe like a Tony Jaa and a Kevin Hart, like the two people you would never expect to kind of see in the movie together, but have it really based off of the humor of Kevin Hart and the action of Tony Jaa. I think you could get away with something, man.
And then let Dave Chappelle be the captain.
Oh, yeah, right.
Hey, you want $1 billion, put Dave Chappelle in your movie.
I would love it. All right, guys. So that does it for all the live viewer questions. Is there any comments that you guys want to grab real quick that jumped out at you before we wrap up here? I read that there will be a Twilight series in the works, same characters, new actors. I haven't read that anywhere. Have you guys read that anywhere?
I haven't read it anywhere, but I'd be interested in that because I believe Twilight to me will work better as a series than a movie.
Yeah, I haven't read that anywhere, but yeah, if they wanted to take kind of a new approach to it, like give it a more horror like aesthetic, that'd be kind of cool.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna pull up another question.
Oh, I'll go right ahead. I had something else I was gonna pull up.
Are you excited for a new Superman show? Do you think it is necessary, or is it going to be woke? And he says woke like political Supergirl in season 4. I guess I don't know like what they mean by how like woke.
I hate this. I hate this whole document of the woke thing because something decides to speak on the climate that we're in. More stuff and entertainment should do that, and to make people aware of what's going on, so they know that like we're paying attention, we see what's happening. It's people who do use film and television as an escape, but the problem is maybe it's something you shouldn't be escaping from and something you should be doing more about in order to change what's going on.
I love that, Indy.
And the one thing I will only listen to like that kind of argument against a show if someone says like a show is too woke or too political. The only time I'll kind of listen to that argument is if they say like the way it's presented, as in like the way Supergirl season 4's trailer was presented, where it was rather than showing us the issue, it was just kind of like telling us Whereas what I love about, how it was actually presented in season 4 is the trailer did not do season 4 justice for Supergirl season 4, I think, because the show definitely did a lot more showing than telling. And I think that's what makes Black Lightning such an amazing show as well, is that a lot of the political, nature of it goes from, just you seeing like what's going on in the show. So I think when people have an issue with them telling and not showing, that's when I'll listen to an argument of a show being too political. But I hate it when people just try to say that, oh, it's too political or it's too woke, because to me, that's not a good argument, because literally, if that's what you're saying, you're literally referring to almost every movie and almost every show, because that's nothing new. People are acting like this is something that only like the CW shows do. It's like, no, this has been going on for so many years. Comic books have been doing this since the very beginning. This is not new.
Yeah, and I love that you guys make extremely great points, right? Like, instead of being blind to what's out there, if this is just the climate that we're living in, and they're presenting these stories to you, maybe it's to help you get aware of what's going on in your own world around you. And I get the idea, like you said, Indy, that it is an escapism for some people, right? But maybe it's out there for you to certainly pay attention to.
But I'm sorry. That's probably the reason that I have with the problem that I have with season 2 of Batwoman, is the fact that exactly what Stuart was saying. They're telling, they're not showing. They wrote Wyman Ryder's character as a typical stereotype just to be able to fit that in. Not only is she gay, she's Black, she's from a broken home that she can't do nothing about because everything's stacked against her. Like, everybody's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't come from that background. Every African-American person doesn't come from that background. So why are we always typecast as that?
And I don't necessarily know if these shows mean to be woke, whereas they're just presenting the current climate that we're in. The idea of, if we go into Superman and Lois, people have lost their jobs, right? People have difficulties raising their kids, having to teach them life lessons and stuff. Like, some of those lessons out of life are just what we use to grow up and become adults and kind of form our own sort of minds and things like that. And so I do think that those messages are important, but like you said, show, not necessarily tell. Don't come out with a gigantic monologue or a gigantic speech. No, show it in your actions. Make it work within the realm of the story that you're certainly kind of tell. And you're right also, Stuart, in regards to, like, a Supergirl season 7, I think it's more hate than it certainly deserves. I mean, are there some political undertones in there? Yeah, but is it the entire season? Absolutely not, but it's bringing attention and awareness, at least, to maybe what's kind of going on in our own climate, and trying to ground their own show into what we're doing here today. I mean, and like you guys said, these type of stories have been told in comic books for years. It's what's helped make a lot of these characters as popular as they certainly are. And so I just don't think these are certain things that we need to be afraid to tackle, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, they're too woke, so I'm not going to watch it. That just seems like you just don't want to enjoy reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't want to enjoy what we're really dealing with in today's world, and to his or own. But I don't think that should just mean you shouldn't watch a show just because they're tackling certain issues that you might be uncomfortable with. Yeah,
there's some kid watching these shows, or some young girl who's watching these shows that's necessarily possibly finna become like the next Bernie Sanders or something like that, that's going to stand up for something just from something she viewed on Supergirl. Like that inspired her to get up and make a change rather than just sitting around complaining.
Yeah, because I mean, when I watch Supergirl season 4, there's literally maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, maybe 4 episodes tops, that I'm like, okay, maybe that's a little bit too on the head, like too hitting the nail on the head type of thing. But for the majority of the season, I feel like it's just a Supergirl season telling its story the way that it wants to. So yeah, I don't think that trailer was handled really well, and I think people immediately jumped off too quickly. But I do that, and that's why I said when we started this question, I don't even necessarily know what woke means, because I think people are just kind of putting that term into something else that it either doesn't mean, or they're just not fully understanding,
And everybody that uses should be paying Snowden product royalties, by the way.
Do you guys watch SNL by any chance?
Mm-hmm.
I loved Bill Burr's opening monologue when he kind of gives his perspective on what the woke movement was. It's funny. I won't spoil it for you, because I do love Bill Burr, so I'll have to check him out. He has to be with his like amazing Boston accent. If I try to like repeat it, I'm gonna kill the joke.
Let's see here. There was another one. What's up with the? Maybe you could. I don't know too much about stock and Wall Street, but if you guys can somehow,
which one of us do you want to break this down?
I mean, I know
I'll give a very dumbed down version of it, and then if Indy you know like a little bit more, you can kind of expand on it. But my dumbed down version of it is because of a Reddit joke of everyone investing of like, hey guys, we should all like invest into GameStop, making their stocks, you know, if we all invest together, their stocks will be worth a lot more, which I don't know. I always thought that's like the opposite of what it would do, but apparently not. So then our stocks will be worth a lot of money, you know, and then we could sell it for a profit. And it worked. So now like people invested $1 into GameStop stocks, and now those stocks are worth $100 each. And what came out of it is actually a kind of heartwarming story where there was a kid whose mom, you know, always invested in the stock market. And so for his birthday a couple years ago, she gave him like I think 10 shares into GameStop or something like that. So now this kid who's like, I think turning I think he was turning 13 when this happened, now has over $4,000 in his name from GameStop because of this. But yeah, anyways, it's just some weird thing where because like a bunch of people on Reddit said we should all invest in the stock market together, apparently it's ruining it for billionaires. So I'm watching it all on the outside and thinking, hey, good for them.
It's actually a group that's on Reddit that's dedicated to taking away, you know what I'm saying, from the rich, and they're tired of the rich manipulating the stock market. So basically what happens is GameStop is something that should never go up in the stock market. I mean, it's something that's literally dead. Nobody's walking into GameStop and buying games when everything is in the digital age. So they're picking stocks that they can throw money behind to make a big boom in order to mess everything up like in the stock market. At the same time, they're becoming millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's included. A lot of them become millionaires overnight, but you have the government and bigwigs who are actually trying to put laws in place to stop them from doing that because the poor are not.
That's dead.
No, because the poor are not supposed to have access to money. The stock market is only supposed to be manipulated by those with hedge funds. It's supposed to be manipulated by in investors, and I'm trying to remember the proper term for it with the businesses, because we would be called retailers. We're somebody who's not supposed to be able to manipulate the market, and that's all we're doing right now. They're doing it with Dogecoin, they're doing it with GameStop, they're doing it with the AMC stocks, and they're trying to actually stop them from being able to manipulate the market like that, to the point where like we couldn't trade or sell any GameStop or Dogecoin stock on Robinhood. Like we were blocked from doing it, and a limited access to it. So it's actually interesting to show that this thing that we're actually taught not to be able to do, like we're always told, we look at stocks, oh no, let them do it. That's for, you know what I'm saying, those type of people with this amount of money. That's how they keep their, like, we're never told that this is a way that we can actually earn an income is doing stuff like that. So it's just, I'm glad that people are paying attention and seeing that this is a way to wealth, and it's not only for the wealthy. Because we can, if we get enough people, if you go watch the Reddit right now and go into that Wall Street Reddit, that Wall Street Bus Reddit, they're actually already plotting their next thing that they're going to do. So they're getting a hold of these penny stocks, the stuff that takes nothing. They're booming them up, they're busting. And it was actually all started to stop one dude at first, but now they're trying to blow up the entire stock market.
Yeah, I am wondering if this is all going to come crashing back down, or if it's eventually going to be regulated to where everybody that is making this money. I don't know if that can that kind of stuff be reversed.
No, it really can't be reversed. But basically, what they try to do is stop it, and then basically people who have money invested lost their money, and they try to stop it. But then that's where a lawsuit comes into play, because you just stopped my investment for no reason, because they're not breaking any laws. But the funny thing that I looked research into is that you can't regulate cryptocurrency. There's no way to regulate it, because it has no value until value is put into it. So it's going to be interesting. That's why they're going after the crypto and the Dogecoin and, you know what I'm saying, all that right now, because there's nothing the government can do to regulate that.
Man, thank you guys for that insight. Because I mean, I've been hearing about it. I've been trying to do some research in regards to it, but when it comes to Wall Street, like all that is just like it might as well be German to me. I'm like, okay, I guess I know what that means. I mean, I get the idea of a bunch of people investing money, especially in companies that are like dead to rights at this point, you know, GameStop, AMC, and the idea of helping them kind of boom. I just didn't know what the impact it was having on like those in Wall Street or, you know, with hedge funds and things like that. So yeah, man, crazy times. So yeah, invest in some GameStop, guys, if you get a chance to, or, you know, who knows.
Yeah, the GameStop stock that I was given as a manager is doing me pretty well right now.
Nice. And I think that's probably going to be about it, guys, unless there's anything else that you guys saw that you wanted to tackle. Adam's a stud. I wish I oh please. This is my literally unkept head. Like I literally, you know, yeah. Anyway.
One thing that I do want to get into that I don't know if you covered on More Phenomenal, because I actually wasn't able to stick around for the whole show, is today is the day.
Today is the day.
Yeah, somebody did post that, right? Watermelon said, tonight I'm gonna binge as much Power Rangers as I can on Netflix before it goes bye-bye. Yeah, today is the last day for Power Rangers.
You know what I'm gonna do, actually? I'm gonna like just have my PlayStation 4 just constantly playing episodes, because I just want them to see that there is a big fan base out there. And so hopefully Netflix or whoever's in charge of taking it off of Netflix will see that and will hopefully be like, maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah. I'm going to watch the greatest Power Ranger season of all time. Mystic Force.
Yeah, I love that. That one is just okay. So that was actually one that I had kind of put off for the longest time, just because it just seemed really. I don't know why, actually. I really can't say why. But when I did finally watch it, I was kind of just amazed by it. Not because I thought it was like the best written season, but just it's the most different season, I think, when it comes to Power Rangers. It feels the most different from all the other ones, to me, anyways.
I mean, anything is better than Mega Force.
Yes, facts.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Mystic Force, but I only
like
watched
Mystic Force character.
I mean, I love that genre too. I really do. But I wasn't the fan of the season itself. But again, I only watched it once, so I might have to go back and re-examine it. So maybe I'll be like you, Stuart. I'll just put some Power Rangers on in the background today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys.
Headcanon, sorry, last thing. My headcanon with Mystic Force, the guy who owns the radio store that they all work at, that is Stephen Hyde's son from That 70s Show. That is my headcanon for sure.
I love it. All right, guys. I think other than that, I think that's probably going to wrap it up here for us. A little bit of a longer show today, but thank you guys, first of all, for Indy. Thank you very much for hosting, and I appreciate the both of you being here to go through some of these questions and topics while I was certainly gone. So thank you for that, guys, for being that great backup that I need in case my internet doesn't work too well. All right, guys. But hey, other than that, I think that's going to do it for us here. But listen, Indy and Stuart, we'll start off with Stuart here. If people want to go ahead and reach out to you on social media, Stuart, where can they find you, man?
You guys can find me at TurboStew01 on Twitter, and then you can also check out my older YouTube page, Turbo Studios. I actually have a couple new videos on that channel. One where I review Psycho Gorman, and one that was a video my girlfriend and I filmed on my birthday, where we just did a Hot Ones thing. On the video, and we don't get too excited. Now we just I convinced her to do a Hot Ones thing, but we kind of did like a weird twist with it. So we did what we called Hot Ones First Date Edition. So we just like after each wing, we would ask each other a first date type of question. So it was a pretty fun video to make.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Keep those personal videos to yourself, Stuart. But Indy, if people want to reach out to you, Indy, where can they find you, man?
First and foremost, right here on A Plus Hero Report, man. Go check out that episode of Anime Assembled that got uploaded yesterday, and just check out all our news and reviews. Everywhere else is at Nerd Mix Alpha everywhere.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you guys haven't checked out, if you guys are big anime fans, Indy's been definitely repping when it comes to Anime Assembled here on our channel every Saturday. Every Saturday at 2:00 Central, correct?
Correct.
Nice. Definitely go ahead and check it out, guys. There is a brand new episode up on our page as of right now, so go ahead and show them some love. Also, guys, if you want to go ahead and follow us on social media, you can definitely do so right here at aplusopinions. Very active on our main page, which is in fact Facebook. Very active over on Twitter as well. And you can also check us out on Instagram and Twitch for you gamers also. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, guys, if you love our wrap-ups, if you love our deep dives into a lot of these articles and news information, definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and importantly, give us that big thumbs up. Hit that like button whenever you guys get the chance. But other than that, we certainly will be back next week. Just so you guys know, we are in fact going to be changing the time for next week. Now that football season is officially over, we will in fact be going back to our noon time period. So every Sunday live at noon Central Time, certainly going forward. So definitely go ahead and join us then. But other than that, that's going to wrap it up for us here. So until next time, guys, do us a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And as always, keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.